YouTube, and, of course, everything you need on the all-new, all-redesigned, all-free, and all-customizable, so you can move Wilde and Tausch into spot number 1, where it belongs.
On Spotify or no?
On the ESPN Wisconsin app, which is available both in the Apple and Android app stores.
It's a great app.
By the way, I did find we don't have any road trips to Rutgers scheduled, do we? Because there is a Spotify office in New York City, so maybe we can get an appointment with somebody there.
Well, I do think, I don't know if Rutgers is on the road, but next year in I think part of maybe some of the arithmetic that Mac is using that I know a lot of Badger fans are irritated about in bringing Luke back, Rutgers, I believe, is on the schedule next year. Maybe it is. It's the birthplace of football up there in Piscataway.
Talk about a must-win. I'm Jason Wilde in Green Bay.
That's a trip I don't. That's not a trip I always.
You're big in Piscataway.
Big everywhere, but UCLA next year. Now I'll be excited to get out there. I know that.
Yeah. I'm Jason Wilde in Green Bay. Jesse Nelson is in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios, and in his undisclosed location, the Packers Hall of Famer and former Wisconsin football walk-on and NFL draft pick, Mark Tauscher. Tausch, good morning. You and Chris McIntosh were teammates, line mates, friends, countrymen.
Yep.
What did you think of yesterday when he announced that Luke Fickell will return next season as the Badgers coach? What did your initial reaction?
Obviously I wasn't surprised because I've kind of been hearing this and being around the program. I had a sense that it was leaning this way. There was a couple of weeks ago that I don't know if I would have felt the same. So this is obviously a tough period of time for Mac, for everybody involved with Wisconsin football, because the season it's been, I guess, very disappointing is probably the nicest way I could put it. And there's still 4 games to go. But I do think you, at this point, with all of the other coaches that have been fired in Division I, big football, I think you factor all of this in, and it's, in my opinion, and we can ask Mac when he joins us, I think the interesting part to this is what is going to happen next? What do we need to see? And I thought with some of Mac's, I know he did an interview with Jesse Temple on Badger Connect, and he took a lot of heat. He's, whether it was the letter that he wrote a couple weeks ago, he's trying to be supportive of his coach, and he's also trying to balance the fact that he understands everybody's super disappointed. It's not the easiest balancing act. I get that. But fans have every right to be as disappointed as they want. This has been disappointing, and I'm guessing, we'll continue to see that. So I obviously, from my perspective, I want to see this thing be incredibly successful. I am rooting as hard as I can, but you also have the reality of what's on the ground and what's happening. So Mac has been steadfast. He's, obviously, had conversations with a lot of people to help inform this decision moving forward, and he is stuck with this. And now, with Pete Thamel's report yesterday, that is what is going to happen. And now, what are you going to do about it, and how do you figure things out to not have another season anything close to what we're having this year? And the challenges are huge moving forward.
Yeah, look, I'm a couple things. One, and I'm going to ask Chris this. I don't understand. Like, you did the letter thing. You've given him a vote of confidence earlier. The chancellor has talked about. I don't understand why we felt the need to do this again. Basically, I don't know how he's going to answer that question,
I guess, Jason, it's definitely at the top of the list of questions to ask Mac. But has there been any definitive, like, he is kind of like, I ain't going in Wolf of Wall Street. I ain't leaving. Like, there hasn't been the declaration, and I think part of this, too, you lost a couple of recruits, and, throughout the last couple of weeks, people want certainty. They want to understand where your program is headed. And, by the way, every one of those kids on this team that isn't graduating, they can go. Their portal's opening up in 2 months. So
it's true.
I understand what you're saying. Obviously, after Maryland, there was a lot of noise about what was happening because that loss was devastating to fans and to everybody else. So I think he was trying to give a vote of confidence without having to go out and do it. The letter, you can ask him about that. As far as why do this now, I do think it's to try to finish this season off on a strong note. And I think it's probably to, kind of rally the troops and say, this is what we're doing, this is our plan. And I'm certain that there's a lot of Badger fans that are not all that excited about that plan. And it's up to these guys throughout, and it's both Luke and Mac and everybody needs to go out and sell it. This isn't going to be we're just going to turn this around. You gotta win hearts and minds back, because right now hearts and minds, they're not there. And that's going to be another challenge in what's already obviously a challenging landscape with everything that's going on in college football.
Yeah, look, I was saying this to Homer and Chewy this morning because they were I guess one of them's not a cousin sub, but the cousin subs on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Look, I don't cover the White House. I don't cover politics. I don't cover wars. There are capital J journalists that do that. But look, I'm going to try and be both respectful of Mac. I know he's a good friend of yours, but there are some questions that need to be asked. Now, am I going to take a combative approach to this? No, because as
Sam
I've
Donaldson?
said many times,
who's the most combative political correspondent you've ever seen?
I was going to say Jim Rome and Jim Everett. Call me Chrissy one more time.
That was disrespectful. I don't know if that was combative.
No, I'm not going for that angle. But what I was going to say is that there are questions that need to be answered. And I'm not guaranteeing answers from Mac. I don't know how he's going to handle this. I watched his interview with Jesse Temple. I saw the stories elsewhere. So I have a working knowledge of what might be coming. But again, my goal is to ask questions in a manner that elicit answers. Now, whether I will succeed or fail, I don't know. But I am looking forward to the conversation. I appreciate him choosing to spend some time with us. But you could put me among the skeptics that retaining Luke Fickell, and I don't even know what the greater financial, one of the other questions I want to ask is what exactly is this, greater financial commitment, support? What does that mean? Look like? So we'll talk to him coming up, but again, I don't think, at least I hope, when we're done, people aren't saying, "Oh, what a bunch of softballs." Now, it's not going to be. I am not going to be combative with him, but I am going to be honest with him, and I'm going to try and ask him the questions that need to be asked. So he is scheduled to.
No, I was just going to say, I think, it's obviously, you're a big J journalist, and throughout this process, I guess the questions and the fans are not going to be happy until this thing gets turned around. And the opportunities to turn this around, you have 4 weeks, but realistically, I don't know, if we're just being realistic with some of the injuries, I don't know how much turning around. If you could find a way to win Saturday, that would be absolutely fantastic. I've seen how much strife and just losing is miserable, man. Like I think people think, well, guys are getting paid all this money and everything else. I'm telling you right now, yes, people want to make money, but it is miserable, and there is a weight that is just on top of you, and when you have this kind of season going, I saw Greg Schiano, and this is what really I'm hoping that Luke and his staff and his players get an opportunity in these next 4 weeks. Schiano beats, I think, Northwestern. I don't remember who they beat. And Greg Schiano's coached in the NFL. I don't know where he's all coached. He goes across, and they won a football game on a last-second field goal. and you'd have thought he won the Super Bowl because they had lost 4 or 5 in a row. And it just, you see how important that is. Doesn't matter, he's made millions of dollars. That's what I'm hoping for in these last 3 or 4 weeks, that they can find a way to do that, to unburden from all of this losing and misery that this season has kind of afforded them.
Greg Schiano, wasn't he the one that when he was the coach of the Buccaneers, that he had them still going after offensive linemen on kneel
knees.
Downs?
Yeah.
That was a win against Purdue a couple of weeks ago where he was celebrating
Purdue.
like they won the Super Bowl. I watched that ending live.
Jesse,
wow.
People look at it and they think, oh, my God. I see it. I understand it. And, by the way, I've had more people text and tweet at me about when we announced that Mac is joining us. And I get it, man. None of us are happy. You think Mac's happy? You think Fick's happy? And if there was a solution, and I'm sure we'll ask Chris this, if there's a solution, we knew if going out and bringing somebody else in was going to guarantee us 10 wins next year, I don't think we'd go. But there's a process, and there's going to be some frustration as this thing's going, and there's a lot of work that has to be done to flip this thing around.
All right, so he is scheduled to appear next, and then we'll talk about how that plays out afterward. We can't do anything, though, until we talk about Gina Della and Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, all the winning they do.
It's a lot of winning, and it is a top-notch operation, and we love Gina, and we love Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. And when it comes to your home, just do the smart thing. Trust Gina Della and her great team at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. This month you can score a whole house. New energy-efficient Pella windows for as low as $297 a month. 0 interest for up to 72 months. That's like a drive you can sustain for years, keeping your home comfortable thanks to an incredible defense played by Pella, stopping all of those drafts. And you better get moving, people. There's snow coming. As a matter of fact, I think that Washington game, which should help Wisconsin, going to be snowing Saturday. Cold air. Get your stuff together. Get it moving. It's a great time. 0 interest all the way for 72 months. Don't wait. Schedule that free consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Chris McIntosh, the athletic director at the University of Wisconsin. Not Wisconsin, Wisconsin. Joins us next. It's Wilde Tausch.
This is Wilde Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tauscher here for Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie. Well, Zimbrick Chevrolet is truly the name you can trust. But you know what you can't trust? Wisconsin's winter weather. With temperatures dropping, you'd better make sure your vehicle is ready for the winter roads. Get your vehicle prepared now so you don't have any issues when that pesky snow gets worse in the next few months. I recommend stopping in to see the amazing service team at Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie. Get a tune-up, check the battery, check your tires, that's a big one for the winter, change the oil, and make sure all the inner workings of your vehicle are in tip-top shape. You can take my word for it, whether you're making a holiday weekend trip, driving your kids to sports tournaments, or simply getting to work on time when the snow can slow you down. Zimbrick Chevrolet is truly the name you can trust. Schedule a service appointment, view vehicle inventory, and learn more about all they have to offer at ZimbrickChevrolet.com. That's ZimbrickChevrolet.com. Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie, the name you can trust.
At Wisconsin Surplus Online Auction, you won't have to worry about your old lawnmower pulling a hamstring. They make buying and selling easy. Wisconsin Surplus Online Auction is simple, reliable, and unlike your fantasy team this football season, they'll actually deliver. Have equipment taking up space? Let them be your surplus solution. You send it in, they list it, people bid, and you actually win. Bid, buy, sell, and score big today at WisconsinSurplus.com. Because winning isn't just for game day. WisconsinSurplus.com.
Liberty Station American Tavern and Smokehouse isn't just a barbecue restaurant. Open daily for lunch and dinner, Liberty Station serves American comfort food with regional touches using many locally sourced ingredients. The bar at Liberty Station offers vintage cocktails created in a classic style, local craft beers, plus a wide array of wine options. And be sure to check out their sprawling patio with an indoor and outdoor porch area. Liberty Station, conveniently located just off the Beltline on Rimrock Road.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Alex Stroh for my great friends at Door County Distillery. Locally produced, handcrafted, award-winning spirits made locally in beautiful Door County. It's the best time of the year. It's bourbon season. Weather outside getting a little chilly, but you can stay warm with a delicious glass of the Door County Distillery bourbon. Or check out Door County Distillery exclusives like their cherry bourbon and their bat bourbon. It's bat good. Visit their website, doorcountydistillery.com. That's doorcountydistillery.com.
What's better than cheering for the Packers with an ice-cold beer in your hand? Cheering for the Packers with an ice-cold beer in your hand that you got for 10% off. And when you get Packers checking from Associated Bank, you get even more. Like 10% off food and 10% off drinks on game day. Like that ice-cold beer in your hand. Plus 15% off Pro Shop gear. Only with Packers checking. Associated Bank. Bank of the Packers. Learn more at associatedbank.com/Packers. Member FDIC.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. If you're looking for a place where you can better yourself while having a wonderful atmosphere, you have it at the Princeton Club. Strong communities, strong body, and strong mind. All it takes is one small step to start today. You will see that you have everything you need in order to achieve all of your goals. Find your better tomorrow at the Princeton Club. 8 Madison locations where you go in there, you take a tour, and you realize this is a place for me. Find more at PrincetonClub.net.
Mark Tauscher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott, Garrett, and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. It's my go-to spot for birthdays, anniversaries, and any special occasion. For quality jewelry and a great experience, choose Chalmers Jewelers, the place to go for that perfect gift. Stop at Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
And Madison.
This is Wilde Tausch, brought to you by Grassland Butter. Grassland Dairy is Wisconsin. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com.
And as promised, joining us now, it is the athletic director at the University of Wisconsin. It is Chris McIntosh. Mac, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Jason. I'm good. How are you?
I'm going to be 1,000% honest with you. Love it when you come on the show and we talk about Tausch and the old days, and I fret about the non-revenue sports, and we talk about how Chili said the game room's closed and clowns are funny and all that kind of stuff, and that's not what today's about. So we appreciate you joining us. But I do have, and I know Tausch does, have a lot of questions after yesterday. So I'm going to dive right in. And I'm going to begin here. And look, I think you know that all this is going to come from a place of respect, but I unfortunately have a job to do sometimes too. What I don't understand, frankly, and I'd like you to help me understand it, is why was this even necessary? Like I think you've been pretty clear about your intentions throughout, and I don't understand the timing of it, and I don't understand the reason behind feeling the need to announce this yesterday. Can you explain to us why you felt this was important and why you felt it was important to do now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jason, that's a fair question, and I think where this came from in my mind was, we need to create clarity around the direction and the future of our program. Clearly there have been many conversations throughout the season between Luke and I, between the team and I, obviously with Luke, and there's a point given the speculation and just the noise around the program about what might be, in which I felt it was necessary just to create clarity. And I think I owed that to, first and foremost, to our players as we look to the future and as we, retain the talent on our roster that can help us win in 26. But as importantly, I think we needed to create clarity for, our recruits, those that have committed to us, those that have bought in to the direction we're going, and I share in the frustration and the disappointment around how this season has gone. and I think it's important for everyone around our program, including our fan base, to know that we're obviously not satisfied with where things are at, and we can identify the issues that need to be corrected, and I think those issues can be addressed in a way that can allow us to be competitive in the Big Ten in 2026.
So I know there were a series of interviews that you did, and you said something with Jesse Temple yesterday that has gotten a lot of attention. And if I'm being honest, I don't think the attention has been particularly positive. So I want to give you an opportunity to expound on it. You said, and I'm quoting here, "The priority for me is to continue to grow the program in a way that puts us in a position to achieve those expectations. That comes in many forms. It's not limited to wins and losses. It's those final 7 words that people have been critical of." Can you expound upon that so they understand what you meant there?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked the question, and I'm happy to clarify. I mean, make no bones about it. I mean, the goal is to win, and the goal is to be competitive in the Big Ten, and the goal is to be competitive in the Big Ten in 2026. I mean, there's no getting around it. You know, the conversation that I was having with Jesse was a long conversation, and you know, those 7 words may not align perfectly with the point or the direction of the conversation we're having, but the goal is to win. It always has been to win, and we've not shied away from those expectations that we embrace, that our fans embrace, that, well, I mean, those expectations that Tausch and I were a part of creating a long time ago. I mean, that's what we're here to do. That's what our goal is. That's what our objective is. And so I'm glad that you gave me the opportunity to clarify that, because I don't want it to come across that we're complacent. I don't want it to come across that we're satisfied. It's important that everyone around our program and our fans understand, completely disappointed with where we're at, and motivated to fix it, motivated to win in 2026, and completely understand the urgency around it.
So, and especially because, and obviously you know this, you know, when you fired Paul Christ and you hired Luke, you talked about that this was about winning championships. And I'm not saying it takes time for everything. So obviously the college football championship is not on the radar at the moment. But the results to this point haven't been obviously what you wanted. What gives you the confidence that this will change?
Yeah, I think, you know, one of the things that, I mean, there are in the era of college football that we're living in right now, obviously there are all kinds of challenges, but there are some real opportunities, and one of those opportunities is that you can turn things around quickly, and we've seen this at other places, and I don't think that Wisconsin should be prevented from being able to do that ourselves, and I think, you know, our priority is we need to retain the talent that's on our roster, and we need to get really aggressive around acquiring talented players that can help us, you know, achieve our goals, like I said, as soon as 2026.
So, and that's where I am struggling in the new era of college athletics, is because when you talk about retaining and bringing in talent, what you're really talking about is money. And you talked about a greater financial commitment moving forward. What where does that come from? Obviously, there's the revenue sharing component. There's got to be more than that, though. I mean, I think back to Ryan Day coming out a few years ago and saying that Ohio State needed $13 million a year to compete. Is there a number that you have in mind to close the gap? And then B, like, if you're counting on your football athletic supporters, what is the sales pitch that you make to them that you want them to invest their money in the program? How do you go about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an embracing of the world that we're living in now. And like I said, there are challenges, but there are as many opportunities. And it does require money. It does require resources to be poured into the program, and you know that starts first and foremost with the rev share, and we've maxed out our rev share. We've fully participated in that. Going forward, it's about creating opportunities for our players to maximize their NIL opportunities in our market. And I think that's an area in which we can be tremendously successful. We have a strong business in that area. We've got strong partners in that area. This is a strategy that overall it's a simple one, but it's not an easy one to execute. It's going to require all of us, and it will require our partners our sponsor partners who have already seen the ability for our student athletes to represent their brands and create value, and it's pouring gasoline on that fire that has already begun. I think, to answer your question around our donors and our supporters, we've been I'm tremendously grateful, and we've been blessed to have a lot of support. It's worth noting at the same time that we're going through navigating today's world of college football, we're also building a $285 million indoor practice facility, and the support that we've received for that project is well beyond our expectations, what we could have ever dreamed. And so we have a tremendous amount of support. It's now focusing that support in the areas in today's world that can help us be successful, like I said, in 2026.
So, Mac, when you've had these conversations with Luke, and I'm sure there have been some tough ones, what are some of the things that he's kind of talked to you either about the frustrations? Has it been, obviously we all know about the injuries and some of that, but what are the frustrations and what are some of the things that give him confidence that he can get this thing turned around next year too?
Yeah, I think, Tausch, when you look at this season, first of all, there are no excuses, but injuries are a reality, and that's something that obviously has been a huge challenge for us this season, and in past seasons at key positions like the quarterback. There's no getting around that. I think the strategy that we executed to create this year's roster resulted in, at the beginning of the season, a really competitive starting lineup. The challenge that we've had this season is half of that lineup isn't in the lineup because of real significant injuries. And so, depth has been a challenge for us, but at the same time, while we're playing really young, talented players, 16 first and second year players are playing significant minutes this season. As well as anybody that comes with a lot of challenges, but it comes with a lot of opportunities for the future. I think you can start to see some of the talent that Luke has recruited to Wisconsin on the field, and you can see a glimpse of the future. Is it perfect? No, it's not. We're living through some of those growing pains, but I think you can see a base or a core of players, really talented players, as a result of Luke and the staff's ability to recruit talented high school players. That's an area that we've done well in. That's starting to take form, and I think that'll pay dividends in the future.
You just mentioned high school players, and one of the criticisms that we've heard and we saw, there's an article, I think, in the Journal Sentinel about the relationship with high school coaches and in-state Wisconsin kids. It's a tough balancing act because you're going to have to win now, and you need juniors, seniors, older players. But is that something you've talked to Luke a little bit about from a getting out in the community and that outreach to high school coaches? Because there has been a lot of outside criticism about that.
Yeah, there has. And it's, for the record, it's incredibly important that we have a strong presence in the state of Wisconsin. There's no secret that there's talent in the state of Wisconsin that has been and will continue to be key to our success for this program. I think it's important to note, there isn't a single facet or aspect of this program that hasn't already begun, that we haven't already begun or will scrutinize. Every aspect of the program will be evaluated and scrutinized, and our ability to recruit in the state of Wisconsin and to benefit from strong relationships with high school coaches is one of those.
And another one, just from a talent evaluation standpoint, college football has become more professional as this thing has continued to unwind, and you're talking about having to raise revenue and to continue to do that. How do you look at it from an in-house standpoint with your talent evaluation, whether it's your GM? Do you need to ramp that up more, or how do you when you're looking through your evaluations, how do you find ways to continue to improve on the evaluation of those portal kids that you do bring in?
Yeah, I think that's one of the areas that causes me to be optimistic about our chances to be successful in the future. Since the construction of the 25 roster, which for the most part concluded, after the first portal, for the most part, a couple of exceptions, after the first portal in January last year, we've added 4 or 5 positions in football that really begin to mirror, an NFL-like front office, and we've actually recruited and retained some NFL talent in that space that's been really helpful. So I feel like we have the infrastructure in place. Not to say that it's static, not to say that we won't add to it or add more talent there, but we have made investments in that since the creation of last year's roster that I think put us in a position to hit the ground running at the conclusion of this season.
Talking with Badgers Athletic Director Chris McIntosh on Wilde Tausch. All right, Mac, I have a few more for you, and you mentioned you and Tausch and being part of building what Wisconsin football has become. I'm curious, I feel like you two are exactly the type of players that this program in the previous college football era prided itself on developing, right? An in-state scholarship offensive lineman and an in-state walk-on who they forgot even had another year of eligibility left, and then he finally got to start and everything worked out great. I'm curious, for the program to get back to not just where it was, but to build beyond that, the building a wall around the state, but especially this is offensive linemen. I know there's great running backs that came out of here, great tight ends. Do you look at that especially closely given your history as a player on this team? This program generated a ton of NFL talent. Is the offensive line something that you look at because it's your home as that's what we have to get right first and everything else falls into place?
Well, I think I'd answer that question in 2 ways. Obviously, from my own personal perspective, I have a vested interest in the offensive line being successful here. I think that we benefit from a tremendous legacy of developing players from not just Wisconsin but just the upper Midwest. Certainly, offensive linemen. Tausch and I are products of that development, and the list is long. And so that's obviously an area that has, the offensive line, we've had 7 or 8 iterations of a starting lineup across the offensive line this year. I think back to the time when Tausch and I were part of that, and there was 1 or 2 missed starts in a 4-year period of time for 5-man offensive line. It's a stark contrast to where we are today. So obviously the offensive line is important to me, but beyond that, more importantly, this program wins and loses as the offensive line goes, and that cannot be disputed. When you go back and look at our best teams, they've had the best offensive lines, and when you look at the times in which we've struggled up front with the offensive line. So there's no getting around it. That's key to our program, the success of our program. It's also key to the system that Jeff Grimes is trying to install and run, and the future and the success of his system and our ability as a team to be successful, like I said, begins with the offensive line. So that's an area that's critically important. I think, we have a desire and we understand the importance to recruit offensive linemen, from our footprint and develop them. And that's been an opportunity for us for decades and decades. I think, in this era, given, some of the needs that Tausch touched on, the need for more experience and some veteran players, I think, there's an opportunity for us to complement. Those two things can complement each other, those two strategies.
Okay, Mac, a couple of other things, and there's no avoiding this question because this is what I hear from alumni and fans all the time. I just, again, want to give you the chance to be clear on this. All they talk about is the buyout. And I just think it's important. If you truly believe the right thing here would be to go in a different direction with your head coach, you have the financial wherewithal to do that. You could do that if you wanted to, but you're not doing it because you believe in Luke Fickell. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, Jason. I think, in terms of evaluating the program and our future, first and foremost, the decision that needs to be made is do we have the right people in our program? Do we have the right head coach in our program? Do we have the right staff in our program? That's the decision, and that's where I feel confident going forward. Luke Fickell still possesses all the same qualities that made him a great hire 3 years ago. He's still a competitor. He hasn't forgotten how to coach. He's got a fire and a determination to get us through this and to win soon. But that's the first factor that needs to be evaluated. And so if I felt that there was a change that needed to be made, I wouldn't hesitate in making that change. This program means everything to me. I mean, this program changed my life. I have an intimate understanding of how important it is to not just our athletic department, but our university, to the state of Wisconsin, and personally to me and to the players that I played with and anybody that's ever put a helmet on in Camp Randall. I fully understand the importance of it. And if I felt that we needed a leadership change, I wouldn't hesitate. I just feel like the best path for us to position ourselves to be successful as soon as 2026 is with Luke Fickell as our head coach.
Do you and Luke talk about other potential staff changes? Is that part of the equation here that you guys have to evaluate, or does that just come down to his decisions? How does that part of it work?
I would just go back to what I said earlier, that there isn't a single aspect of our program that won't be evaluated and scrutinized. And the questions that we are asking of everyone, not limited to our assistant coaches, everyone around our program, is how can you bring value to the program so that we can be successful in 26?
All right, Mac, one last thing. So I'm obviously a guy who's covered the NFL for a long time, including going out to Seattle once upon a time and seeing Mike Holmgren, who was trying to be a GM and a head coach. I've dealt with Ron Wolf. I've dealt with Ted Thompson, now with Goody. Can you help me understand how you can mimic the NFL model? I don't know enough about Marcus Sedbury's role. I don't know what you're kind of thinking in terms of long-term, what a GM role at the college level looks like. Can you walk me through, because it does feel, let's be honest, you guys are basically the NFL now in a lot of ways. So how does that work? What's your vision for that? How does it work now, and what needs to maybe change as you try to move forward in this landscape in terms of general manager of a football program?
Yeah, I think that's the evolution that not just our program, but all programs across college football are facing or are embracing, and it's one that we embrace. Marcus has dedicated himself fully to football. I think, his administrative duties have been basically, absorbed by the other leaders that we have in our department. So he's in football all the time right now. And I think, to your question about how the structure plays out, there are certainly parallels to the pro model, to the NFL model, but there are places in which, college is unique. And this isn't a pro model to the extent that, a GM, picks a roster and hands it to a coach and tells them to coach the roster. There's more of a partnership and a need for trust to ensure that those players fit in a way that allows us to be successful, and that our coaches can go out and recruit and be excited about recruiting. And so it's a partnership. It requires trust. It does require all of us to evolve and to embrace this new world. And I think that's where there's opportunity for us, and that's another area in which it causes me to be optimistic.
So, Mac, as you met with the team and when you have these discussions that you're going to retain Luke, what are you looking for in these last 4 games? Because there's seniors that have had, obviously, a tough season. You kind of just go through what are you looking for in these next 4 weeks? Because now that this decision is made, all of that speculation ends. What are you looking for from this group?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, Tausch. I mean, we've got a third of the season in front of us, the last third of the season in front of us. And, first and foremost, this team and these players have battled through a tremendous amount of adversity and challenge. We talked about the injuries, but, beyond that, the external criticism and pressure around the program is one that's, as you know, Tausch, that's a challenging environment to operate. And I've been proud of the way that this team has gone about their business and competed and worked and given this program everything they have. I mean, clearly the team is together. Clearly, they have not been lost. They've come together to fight through this. What do I want for the balance of the season? I mean, first and foremost for these players, I want to see them win for them, so they can relish in that and feel that. I mean, that's what we always want. And but beyond that, I want to see them keep competing, and I want to see them stay together and push through. And I think fighting through that adversity is something as Tausch, as you and I know, those 3 years before we achieved success in the late 90s, those were not easy years, and there were difficult times. And I think without pushing through those difficult times, I'm not sure that we would have achieved the level of success that we did. That's what I want to see this team do.
Mac, how tough has this, just the fan reaction? I don't know how much of it you hear. We obviously hear a bunch of it, but both with Luke and on your end of this, and I'm sure that's part of kind of when Jason asked you in the beginning of this interview about the timing of it. How tough has that been just both on you and on Luke?
Well, I mean, I think the fan reaction is one thing. I think just to zoom out a little bit, I mean, the reality is, I have expectations, and I have expectations for this program, as does Luke. And, to be able to focus on those and find solutions so that we can be successful, knowing that we're not there right now. And I feel the pain as much personally as our fans do. And I understand that this is not where our program should be right now, that there is a long road ahead of us. But that's what weighs on me. It's my own accountability when I look within, and I know what the potential of this program is. I know what the expectation of this program is, and when you're fighting through a year like the one we are, it's one that just eats you up from the inside, and that's really been the It's both a painful thing to go through, but it's also a very motivating thing to go through. And I want to compete, and I want this program to compete, and we're just leaning into the adversity to push through, because there's no other way to do it. There's no other way but to push through this, and that's where my mind has been.
All right, Mac, most important question for me, because I enjoy doing the show. In no way is Mark Tauscher in any way a candidate for any role in the program in terms of getting it to where you want it to be. You are not going to be hiring your former offensive line mate in any capacity so I can keep him and keep doing the show?
like I said, Jason, every aspect of the program is under evaluation, and we'll do everything we need to be successful.
Mac, I know this wasn't particularly fun for any of us, but I did think these were important questions to ask you, and I appreciate you being candid with us and always making time for us. I can't wait till we can get back to asking silly questions about Chiliisms and me worrying about the non-revenue sports. Thanks, Mac. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. Appreciate it. Thanks.
That is University of Wisconsin Athletic Director Chris McIntosh. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Mark Tauscher here, and with a Wisconsin home game tomorrow in Madison and a big game coming up on Monday night in Green Bay, I'm feeling good on this Feel Good Friday on Wilde and Tausch, painted by Holman Lindsay Paints. With no game in Green Bay on Sunday, maybe this is the perfect weekend to get started on your latest paint project at home. Whenever you're ready to get started, I recommend you do what my family did and trust Holman Lindsay's pro painters to get the job done right. The pros did the job so much better than we could and made the whole process incredibly easy on all of us. All you have to do to get connected, stop into any of Madison's Holman Lindsay locations, ask, and they'll help you find the pro painters that are perfect for what you need. And remember, Wisconsin's best painters use Wisconsin's best paint, and Wisconsin's best painters are the pro painters at Holman Lindsay Paints. Stick around for Feel Good Friday coming up to close out today's show, painted by Holman Lindsay Paints.
The Milwaukee Bucks, the Chicago Bulls.
Giannis fades, Giannis fires, tough shot, and he hits it at the horn. A game winner for the Greek Freak.
Tonight on 100.5 ESPN.
Black Friday deals are here at Brothers Maine. Score the lowest prices of the year on top brands like GE Appliances, Cafe, Hotpoint, and higher. With our low price guarantee, Big Box can't beat our deals. Shop local and save at Brothers Maine.
Oh no, there's only seltzer left, and it's passionberry almond fruit? Who comes up with these? Kick the aluminum can to the curb and mix up a cocktail you actually want with Tito's. It tastes great, it's gluten-free, and it's available in a variety of sizes for your convenience. The flavor abilities are endless. Tito's Handmade Vodka, the official spirit of whatever you want to drink. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Inc., Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
Time out on the field. Let's bring in Gina Della from Pella. What's the winning game plan this month?
Wayne, a whole house of new windows for as low as $297 a month with 0% interest for up to 6 years.
Wow, that's a drive you can sustain for years. No penalties, no extra interest.
And unlike opponents, Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin actually stops the drafts.
Don't sit on the sidelines, folks. Make your move today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 11/30/2025.
I'm John Hayes, owner of Goodman's Jewelers. We've been at the heart of many magical moments, from engagements to weddings to sweet 16s. It warms my heart to be a part of these moments for 40 years with people I consider family. With the highest standards and an eye for classic beauty, enjoy a warm boutique setting at Goodman's Jewelers, where integrity shines in every gem. At 220 State Street, Goodman's Jewelers, the Diamond Store, Madison, since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here with an offer for a bath or shower remodel from Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, you can get $1,000 off your Lugstone shower remodel and 0 interest financing for 12 months. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Game day starts on Regent Street. Fuel up before every Wisconsin football home game at the Monster Energy tent. Grab free samples, snag some Monster gear, and get your energy up before kickoff. The best football pregame start with Monster Energy.
We're on Badgers volleyball.
Near the net,
Carter Booth, two-hand slam in the middle.
Because we're on Wisconsin Sports.
21 kills for Collier.
Your home for UW Volleyball. 100.5 ESPN.
He's got a Chevrolet that don't always run, and the radio never
If I felt that
turns
there was a
down.
change that needed to be made, I wouldn't hesitate in making that change. This program means everything to me. I mean, this program changed my life. I have an intimate understanding of how important it is to not just our athletic department, but our university, to the state of Wisconsin, and personally to me and to the players that I've played with and anybody that's ever put a helmet on in Camp Randall. I fully understand the importance of it. And if I felt that we needed a leadership change, I wouldn't hesitate. I just feel like the best path for us to position ourselves to be successful as soon as 2026 is with Luke Fickell as our head coach.
Wisconsin Athletic Director Chris McIntosh moments ago here on Wilde Tausch. Tausch, look, obviously you and Mac have been teammates. You've been friends for a long time. No one, certainly not you, certainly not him, certainly not Fickell, certainly not the boosters, not the people who pay for the tickets, including the ones that haven't renewed their season tickets, are happy with where things stand. When you kind of take the 30,000-foot view of our conversation, do you feel any differently than you did before? I mean, there's just, to quote Natasha Bedingfield, okay, he's made the announcement that Luke Fickell will be back next year. There's a lot that is still unwritten on what's going to happen. How do you view it?
Yeah, I mean, I think from just hearing it and kind of seeing what he did, what Mac did yesterday, it's, in business, and this is a business, let's not kid ourselves, you need certainty, and you need to have kind of a path that you're selling that you're going to grow your business. That's the job. That's where this administration, along with Luke and everybody else, they got a ways to go because, season ticket renewals, and I have no idea what tomorrow is going to look like at Camp Randall. I've seen the last couple games. There's big challenges ahead. So what is going to spur optimism for this group? And what Mac told us, and he told people yesterday, there's going to be more commitment on the retention, both of staff and of players. The bottom line is, and I asked this question, I don't know, you can judge by the answer of how Mac answered it. Evaluating the talent and getting portal guys that come in here and make a big impact, because the tough part about this, and Wisconsin for years has been bring guys in, develop them, you get 2 or 3 years, and you kind of go through that cycle, right? Where you got older players teaching the younger players, the older players graduate, the younger players grow, and it's a rinse, repeat. Well, college football turned its head. That is not the model anymore. Good young players that don't play leave. Good players that are playing and become great players, there's potential they leave because there's more money out there. So everything is more disjointed, and I think Wisconsin has tried to kind of figure out how to navigate one and the other, and it's not really done a great job on either end of it. And now you have to kind of have a plan in the evaluation, and this I think is going to be the most important part of this. The money is obviously huge because just like it is in the NFL, that's your determining factor on a lot of stuff. You can love Wisconsin. I do think the emphasis on high school coaches and in-state is important.
He did not dispute that. I thought that was a good question.
I was just going to say that I thought Mac answered that. Now, answering questions and doing, you could say that's we need to see it, right? And the coaches and the players here need to feel it, because I do think that is an important part moving forward. It does matter, and it means a lot to me. Obviously, Mac went through it. It is a different era, and my career at the University of Wisconsin would not happen in today's climate. It just wouldn't.
Right.
And there's a lot of other young players that you'd say the same thing. How you figure out that balance and find a way, that's the solution to what's going on. It's a complicated solution, and unfortunately, the clock is ticking. Like, Mac, you made this decision. You now tell the recruits this is what we're doing. You tell the current players, because it's not as simple as just going out to the portal and grabbing 10 great players, pay them a bunch of money, bring them in. All right, great. They have to perform immediately, and they have to understand what this place is about. And you need to have guys that are here that can help along with that. There is going to be, I believe, I don't know how much turnover this roster is going to have, but neither does anybody else. And I think what Mac was trying to do by making this announcement, and why when you asked that question, I was intrigued, you have to give some certainty to guys so that they know. Then it comes down to funding it, and then it comes down to making sure you have the right players in this system. That is a complicated equation that, unfortunately, you're not going to get 2 years to figure that equation out. It's got to be figured out quickly.
So a couple things that, I have some that I would like to do over. I have some that I wish I would have asked that I didn't. I didn't think that.
What's one you wish you would have asked you didn't?
Well, I mean, first of all, the phrasing on my question about the buyout, I'd like to redo that one, because we always talk about this in terms of answers. What's he gonna say? Yeah, I mean, if we had the money for the buyout, I wouldn't be doing this. I'd be going to get Jason Eck. Like, he's not going to say that. So the way I did that, I'd like a do-over on that. Okay. It does bother me that it feels like the answer is simply money, right? Like, Oregon has, in my opinion, a very good coach, right? Dan Lanning is a very, very good coach, in my opinion. But they also have Phil Knight, Uncle Phil as they call him, at Oregon, and his bottomless Nike pockets. I have learned. I didn't know this, but people have told me this. Indiana is jet fueled with their finances by Mark Cuban, right? I don't know. There's got to be more to it than just we can pay top dollar, right? We're going to dedicate the financial resources. There has to be more to it than that, and I'm eager to see what beyond the financial part of this is going to change.
Well, Jason, here's the tough part, because financially, there's always going to be someone with more money. Like, Wisconsin is a great institution. We have a lot of generous donors. We have great businesses that support University of Wisconsin athletics, but that is not going to be – that can get the playing field semi-level. I don't think we're ever going to be able to compete with the Oregons and the Ohio States and the Michigans.
Right.
I don't – that is not going to be the issue. The issue is, do you have the patience and the resources to develop and kind of keep this program where it was? Because right now we've obviously slipped. We're obviously down where I don't think many of us thought we'd be. And you now have to build back to get to a certain level. And the timeline is it's rolling, baby. Like, the timeline is rolling, and we'll see what those resources look like and where they're coming from and how that's going to all work. Obviously, the commitment that Mac has gotten from people, whether it's from the university and then obviously donors and businesses, it still comes down to evaluating getting really good players here.
Right? Yes.
Because you could pay. I don't know, and I was going to ask this. I don't know. Yeah, Nate Hobbs and Banksy, or you get Xavier McKinney. I mean, you joke about it, but that is really the bottom line. If you look at it, Indiana, yes, they've spent a lot of money, and Cignetti's getting a lot of love. He knew his guys. He pulled a bunch of his really good players from James Madison. He paid them, and they've figured out their formula. But I want to say somebody had mentioned 36 transfers that they brought in. 32 of them have been key contributors on their football team that is obviously dominating the Big Ten.
Yeah.
You have to look at it from our perspective at the University of Wisconsin through 3 years. I don't know what those numbers are, but I do know this. It isn't that good. And is that money? I don't know. But that is where, when Mac's talking about evaluating everything, that's where that to me, if we're going to turn it around, that evaluation part of it is as important as anything, even probably as much as raising more revenue.
All right, we'll talk more about this. We still have one more segment in the 9 o'clock hour. I didn't want look. I am a Paul Christ guy. I am a Jim Leonard guy. I tried to take this in an unbiased approach. The one question that I would have asked with a do-over that I didn't was, frankly, and I kind of asked it, but I kind of tiptoed. Like, look, I am not their target demographic for NIL funding. I donate to the UW Carbone Cancer Center and to our Tom Mulhern Scholarship at the Journalism School. That's where my donations as an alumnus of the University of Wisconsin go. My question is, how do you convince the deep-pocketed alumni and boosters that their money is being well spent, right? Because when people that are wealthy spend their money, they do still want a return on their investment. Now, that doesn't mean like in a normal business. They want wins, right? They want a competitive football team if they're going to – they don't want to just throw good money after bad and see your team still losing. So the issue that I have, and he wasn't – I don't know how it would have been asked to get him an answer, but, like, do you feel like what has gone on during Luke's tenure – do you feel like you have a good sales pitch to your wealthiest supporters that this is a good investment for you? Or is it just, hey, we really need you guys to come through for us so we can try and fix this? Oh, I'm very curious to see what this looks like moving forward. I have nothing personally against Luke Fickell. I struggle with the idea that if Paul Christ had embraced this Wild West, if maybe things would have been different, or if there had been faith in Jim Leonard that he could do this, a guy who played in the NFL for a decade plus and is a Wisconsin guy. I don't know. We don't have a time machine. We can't go back and get a do-over on that. But it is, I don't think it's as easy as just going on a media blitz and talking to us and ESPN and Jesse Temple and the State Journal and whoever else they're going to talk to or have talked to. Right now it's just words because that's all you've got. And you got 4 football games left that, let's be honest, they could lose all 4 of them and finish the season winless in the Big Ten. That is a hard sales pitch to make to people to buy tickets, to people to contribute to your NIL funding. It's a tough sell to everybody. And I'm curious to see how it goes moving forward. You should tell us about American Family Insurance before we move forward.
Well, I will. And Badger fans, join my wife and I, Sarah, as we team up again for another year with American Family Insurance to raise funds towards the American Family Children's Hospital through a virtual toy drive. All donations will go towards the therapeutic supplies and toys that help thousands of children and families across the country and our state. Plus, this is the beautiful part of American Family Insurance. I think this is our 4th year we've done this. They match every dollar donated all the way up to $50,000 through the end of this year. So when you're looking at holiday giving and you want to do some philanthropic things, we raise $50,000. American Family Insurance matches it. That is $100,000 that goes towards those therapeutic supplies and toys that help thousands of kids. Visit amfamkids.org to donate today.
More Wilde Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
This is Wilde Tausch, brought to you by Grassland Butter. Grassland Dairy is Wisconsin. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com.
Mark Tauscher here, reminding you there is no better product and no better taste than delicious Grassland butter. Well, I'm counting down the days until our Thanksgiving feast, and you know what I'm most looking forward to? Not the stuffing, not the mashed potatoes, not even the turkey. I can't wait to spread that pure and delicious taste of Grassland butter on everything I can. Can always count on Grassland to produce the highest quality butter right from the farm to your Turkey Day table. Grassland has been producing that high-quality butter since 1904. That's more than 5 generations. And we can all be thankful for the hard-working Wisconsin dairy farmers that help produce the highest quality ingredients that give Grassland its rich flavor. Thank you, farmers, and thank you, Wisconsin, from Grassland Dairy. Butter better with better butter. Learn more about Grassland's story and check out some creative new recipes at grasslandbutter.com. Grassland Dairy, crafting butter for 5 generations.
You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com. Wisconsin men's basketball tipping off the season with a Monday night win over Campbell. John Blackwell leading the way, game-high 31 points. Putting that NBA Combine experience to work. Hear more from his sit-down on the Jump Around Extra.
I'm playing against the best of the best NBA players. And you just bring that a different competitiveness to the program. And coming here ready to compete every single day, you just bring a different aspect that you've seen that other side. You've seen where guys want to get to, where I want to get to, and you're just hungry for it, and you just want to get this team better every single day.
This episode of the Jump Around Extra available on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Get a whole house of new Pella windows for as low as $297 a month with 0% financing for up to 6 years.
Wow. Don't sit on the sidelines, folks. Visit PellaWI.com today.
I'm Scarlett Johansson. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals help fuel my love for acting. When people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
After a serious accident, you'll need a winning team to protect your rights. Trust Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Your seat at the table just got better. Step into the high-limit room at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. This is true high-limit play. Experience enhanced game rules, including blackjack where the dealer stands on soft 17. Better odds, faster play, and authentic action that sets Hard Rock Casino Rockford apart. Your next hand could be your best yet. Find your edge, play your rhythm, and raise the stakes in the high-limit room at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Let's hard rock. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
Ben Brust here to tell you about Zimbrick European. They're Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, and certified pre-owned. But the best part is I've been working with them since 2018, and the evolution has been a 2-door, a 4-door, and now it's time for an SUV. My life has changed, and it's changed with Zimbrick European. Being a dad has made it really important to have the comfort and the safety that the SUV will bring me. Again, Zimbrick European off the Beltline at Rimrock Road. Of course, I found the sexiest car on the lot. Check them out.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
The Don has spoken.
You just can't sit back and say, we need this, we need that. Get out in the state. Let the people meet you and sell the program. Know who you are.
Listen to the Barry Alvarez Show, Mondays at 6 on 100.5 ESPN.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. I understand you guys you've heard me use the analogy that our show is like a restaurant and our specialty is Packers and Halloween candy and parents watching sports and whatever other nonsense might come up. I understand that. I don't need to be told that the Packers are playing the team that beat them twice last year. That is also the team that won the Super Bowl. I understand that game is on Monday. We had the athletic director at the state's primary university on the program with a football program that has yet to win a Big Ten conference game this year and may not do so, and he has decided to retain his head football coach into 2026. I think that is a newsworthy situation. We asked a series of questions of him. We would like to get fans' reaction to that. So we are aware of the Packers game on Monday. We do have an extra show between now and then. But we will certainly discuss the Packers during the course of today's program.
Jason, what do you think? What do you think the percentage of Badger fans believe in Mac's vision for this next year?
I was taught during my Lutheran upbringing at St. Paul's West Dallas and Greendale Martin Luther. Faith is a belief in things unseen. Based on the way the football program has gone during the Luke Fickell era, what you would have to be demonstrating is not faith, is faith. It would, because there's no evidence that what Mac said when he fired Paul Christ and when he hired Luke Fickell about this is about competing for championships and winning championships, Big Ten championships, national championships, etc. That there's no evidence based on what we've seen that this program is capable of doing what he promised. I think that the landscape has been far more difficult to navigate than people thought. I think in fairness, and again, this is not anything personal against Luke Fickell. Luke Fickell's success at Cincinnati came in a different era of college athletics as well, right? Doesn't diminish what he accomplished, but in that way, he's no different than Paul Christ. Paul Christ won a hell of a lot of football games around here and was on the cusp of a college football playoff spot. So, again, we know there's lots of coaches that did it the old way, including Barry Alvarez. Go boo in a bar. It's really blanking hard now to do it. And money is a major player in whether you succeed or fail. So if the message today, which I think it was, is we're going to invest more, and the money part is going to be taken care of, I'll believe that. I don't know enough about it to speak intelligently on it. But then once you invest more, then Luke Fickell better win. And I don't know what the timeline is for that. But that's my takeaway from this. So that's kind of where we stand. I do want to open it up for calls for a little while, even though it's a Friday. And our phones do work on Fridays.
What?
Believe it or not. The Carbless talk and text line is 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. We will get to the Packers. We understand why you come to this show. This is, again, like the Brewers in the playoffs and occasionally other topics. This is significant enough that we're not going to be all Packers all the time here.
Go boo in a bar.
What we are going to be is listening to Tausch at the moment tell us about prize picks, which, hey, there's some Packers talk, some more or less on Josh Jacobs and rushing yards.
Jacobs and Jordan and, that wide receiving core with Tucker and Musgrave, oh my. And whether it's football, basketball, or both, Prize Picks makes every game more exciting. Been playing Prize Picks for a while. Fun and simple as it get. Which players are going off? Which ones are overhyped? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds. You can turn your takes into cash. All you do, pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. Get them right, cash in. Prize Picks also has stacks. You can pick the same player up to 3 times in one lineup. You want more? Giannis, points, rebounds, assists. I think I would after that poor performance last time out. Bank on Giannis, and you can do that only on Prize Picks. Deposits are fast, easy with Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use that code WI, and you get $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. That is, again, code WI. Prize Picks, it's good.
To be right. All right. 844-770-3776. That is the Carbless Talk and Text line. As Geriad points out in the YouTube comments, I'm not quite sure how this is going to go.
I can tell. Here's what I think, and I believe. I don't think we're going to have more than one caller that is on board with what Mac is thinking. That's what I think is going to happen. I hope I'm wrong.
The Prize Picks projection is 0.5 callers.
I got 6 on hold already, so just so you know,
I don't
people
know
are
if
fired up.
What do we put it at, Jesse? I can't do that. What would you say? Nobody. I don't think anybody's going to call and say, "Oh, I love the." I just don't. I could be wrong. Is 0.5 the right number?
That are in line with Mac's vision? That's the
yes
projection here?
Indeed.
Yes.
Are you taking more or less?
That if that projection was on Prize Picks, it'd have the little goblin guy with the red face, because that would be a little bit of a long shot to try and hit that one. Yeah.
Well, let's take a look. Let's find out.
It's like
all right, well, I'll find out
picking,
together.
Terang to hit a home run any given night. That's a little harder, but it might happen.
We'll find out together. 844-770-3776. That's the Carbless Talk and Text line when we kick off the 10 o'clock hour, and we'll do that in 2 minutes, so stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut, and let me tell you, Pizza Hut delivers a win every time with the Big Dinner Box. For just $19.99, get 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Feed your whole team for one unbeatable price. Choose your crust, hand-tossed, pan, thin and crispy, or even tavern style. Order now for delivery or carry out at pizzahut.com or on the Pizza Hut app. The Big Dinner Box for just $19.99, only at Pizza Hut. And remember, no one outpizzas the Hut.
Hey, this is former Badger Brad Norton.
It's a fake. Great call and great execution.
You're listening to a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson. Sports Center, brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out, 220 State Street and online at goodmansjewelers.com. Luke Fickell will return as the head coach of the Wisconsin football team in 2026, according to Director of Athletics Chris McIntosh. Mac appeared earlier this morning on Wilde Tausch, elaborating more about his vision for Wisconsin's future.
I know what the potential of this program is. I know what the expectation of this program is. And when you're fighting through a year like the one we are, it's one that just eats you up from the inside. And that's really been both a painful thing to go through, but it's also a very motivating thing to go through. And, I want to compete, and I want this program to compete. And, we're just leaning into the adversity to push through, because there's no other way to do it. There's no other way but to push through this. And that's where my mind has been.
Miss any of the interview? You can find it in full on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel, available shortly on the ESPN Wisconsin app as well. More reactions to what Mac had to say coming up on Wilde Tausch here on 100.5 ESPN.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 10 o'clock hour will be Tausch sooner or later, indeed. Later is usually the best bet. Let's get straight to the phones. Again, if you want to get to Packers, we will get there a little bit later in the program. Let's start with Pete in Grafton with our 0.5 projection of callers who are thrilled with what
Thrilled? No. Nobody's saying thrilled.
Let's don't inflate it.
Thrilled
lower the expectations. Okay with
on board with
plans.
Not Yeah, something like that, yes.
Okay. Hi, Pete. How you doing?
Hey, guys. How you doing? Say, I missed a lot of the McIntosh interview, but I heard the analysis at the end, and this thought's been bouncing in my head for weeks. Tausch, I want to ask you point blank. If Ted Kellner, I live in Grafton, his name's everywhere. It's all over Wisconsin. It's in Cedarburg. It's in Grafton. He's got a lot of money. If Ted Kellner were to say to McIntosh, I will pay the buyout, I want Luke Fickell gone, what do you think would happen?
Well, I think Mac obviously would lean on Ted because Ted has been as you put it, he is a huge donor. He is a huge supporter of the program. It is not Ted Kellner's decision, but do I think that Mac values what Ted and other big donors have to say? Yes, and by the way, Jason asked point blank whether or not that money was the issue in part of this, and Mac answered very quickly if he felt that buyout and bringing somebody else in would be a better move, he'd do it. So Ted has a lot of sway. There's no doubt about that. I don't think that would be the only thing, but there is no question that Mac has had to work to, I guess, continue to keep the support of those donors, because without that, we've all seen how college football goes. It's going to be that road that we're talking about going down would be almost impossible to go. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's how I'm answering it.
No, it does. It does. I know it would probably be a factor, but I understand that. But I just think, and the other thing is, real quick, I can see what he's doing too. Fickell, he's trying to get some of the young guys in there. He's playing Posa and Catalano, and the other two guys are just fine. But I think he doesn't want to lose those guys, so that's why he's playing them. I mean, that's pretty odd, don't you think? Isn't that kind of the answer there?
Well, Pete, I'll say this, and thanks for the call. I'll say this. You do need to be mindful of your young players that you think can be core players moving forward. And Mason Posa played a whale of a game in Oregon. Catalano played really well. Those are going to be guys that you're going to lean on to be your staples moving forward next season. So there's just like in the NFL, when your season starts going awry, you want to see what you have with young players so that you can start making roster decisions and financial decisions about who stays and who goes. So I think a spark, you're always looking to spark when things aren't good. And in this model, you need to play guys and give them opportunities to see what they can do so that you can say, yes, this is the guy we want leading our defense. And nothing I saw last, 2 weeks ago now, would tell me that he's not somebody you definitely want to have him as one of your staple guys in this program.
Thanks for the call, Pete. We appreciate it. I thought maybe I was going to get a Jason there, but I didn't. I did get to sit with Ted Kellner when I sat in David Gruber's seats uncomfortably at that Bucks game a couple years ago. He could not be more likable and down to earth for a guy that has the kind of money he has. I really enjoyed talking to him. I would be very curious, though, if Pete's question, if that is what he had said, and I don't think Ted would do that, but I would be very curious to see how that would play out. I'm just being honest.
Okay.
Let's keep going with the calls. Let's go to Rome. Not Rome Adunze, whose dad apparently takes a similar approach to Christian Watson's dad from what I was seeing in the news yesterday. And not Romeo Dobbs. Let's go to Ron in Rome. Ron, good morning. How you doing today? Hello, Ron. I never know now if it's Jesse doing something else or our caller not being there.
Ron, you got 3 seconds.
3, 2, 1.
Hello.
Oh, at the buzzer.
Right at the buzzer. Wow.
My fat face hit the mute button by mistake. Sorry.
We all have those times. Yeah. Nice.
I like you talking about the Badgers, even though I'm not a big Badgers fan, because I'm old. I grew up watching college football, and I enjoyed it. But I know there was some problems, like suspending a player if he ate a bagel at the wrong time, and you have kids that couldn't afford groceries or to have a car. So it's probably too late to stick the genie back in the lamp. But why did they have to go from a system that basically worked and just throw the baby out with the bathwater?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Ron, part of it is, listen, man, the NCAA failed miserably. It's been an utter – they tried so hard to hang on. Instead of being proactive, everything was reactive. And now you have a system that is completely broken. And until it gets fixed, it is a wild, wild west of raising money, willy-nilly paying guys and players and coaches, and they need to get to the NFL model yesterday. But you don't have a unionized player group. There's all of the things. The NCAA failed everybody miserably in this whole equation, and now they're basically leaving it on administration and conferences to figure things out, and it sucks. But this is where we're at, and you better adjust, and you better adjust quickly, or you're going to fall way behind. And that's unfortunately what has happened in the last 3 or 4 years.
Thanks for the call, Ron. We appreciate it. All right, we'll get to more of your calls. I see Coach Mack is on line 3, so I look forward to talking to him as we roll on. And yes, we will get to the Packers probably in the 11 o'clock hour, I would predict. Before we can do that, though, I just mentioned him, my guy David Gruber. He has become a good friend. I don't want to sit in his seats again, although I enjoyed sitting next to Ted Kellner. I'm not comfortable courtside. It was fun. Sydney had a blast. Thank you, David, for your generosity. I'm going to stick to press row. But
David, I'll take David's.
Yeah, I'll let David know. I'll let him know.
I'm more than happy to go sit in David's seats. Yeah, I'll sit by Ted.
Sure,
we'll do a courtside interview with Ted.
Maybe Ted would like to sit, somewhere else, and I could sit with him there.
I'd like to invite David and Ted to come play craps with Barry and I at the Hard Rock. How about that? Huh?
It's a great idea
that's another
too.
Fun
sure,
idea.
Yeah, and you'll drive them all.
Sure will.
Get yourself a Sprinter van of some sort. All right. Nevertheless, one thing I don't want to do with David is call him and have him represent me because I don't want to ever be injured in an accident. But you know that if Paula and the girls and I need help and we need the best in the business, he's who we're calling. One call, that's all. 414-276-6666. 414-276-6666. Gruber offices. One call. That's all. More of your calls, plural, next. It's Wilde Tausch.
This is Wilde Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tauscher here for the great team at Everlight Solar, and with the holidays approaching, everybody is thinking about ways they can save a few bucks to be able to spend more for our loved ones. Well, what if I told you there's a way to save money and save the planet by making the switch to Everlight Solar? Take back control of your energy bill with a switch to solar. Trust me, my family, we worked with the team at Everlight Solar to make the switch, and boy, are we happy we did. From the very first conversation, the Everlight Solar team educated us on all the benefits of switching to solar. And you know how much I appreciate keeping things simple. Everlight makes the switch super easy. Join us in saving money and creating a greener environment for our family and the community by switching to solar. Learn more. Schedule a free consultation at everlightsolar.com. That's everlightsolar.com.
Luke Fickell's job is safe. The Wisconsin Badgers will not be firing head coach Luke Fickell. Can he still turn the program around? React with us right here on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Time out on the field. Let's bring in Gina Della from Pella. What's the winning game plan this month?
Wayne, a whole house of new windows for as low as $297 a month with 0% interest for up to 6 years.
Wow, that's a drive you can sustain for years. No penalties, no extra interest.
And unlike opponents, Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin actually stops the drafts.
Don't sit on the sidelines, folks. Make your move today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 11/30/2025.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything, from the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Inc., Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. If you're looking for a place where you can better yourself while having a wonderful atmosphere, you have it at the Princeton Club. Strong communities, strong body, and strong mind. All it takes is one small step to start today. You will see that you have everything you need in order to achieve all of your goals. Find your better tomorrow at the Princeton Club. 8 Madison locations where you go in there, you take a tour, and you realize this is a place for me. Find more at PrincetonClub.net.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau.
There's no second chances. There's no do-overs. We're definitely primed to take that next step. That's the focus and the goal.
This is your Green and Gold Fix on 100.5 ESPN.
It takes a lot of hard work, dedication, sacrifice, pain to get to where you want to go.
This Green and Gold Fix is driven by Metro Ford.
After returning from a right quadriceps injury and missing kicks in each of the last 2 games, kicker Brandon McManus finds himself in a competition with Lucas Haversick this week, according to the head coach, Matt LaFleur.
Well, I think every time it's a competitive situation. So, we're going to have both of the guys kick today, and we'll kind of see where Brandon's at in terms of his health and whatnot, and go with who we feel like gives us the best opportunity to go out there and compete and win.
We will find out who gets to go. It's Monday Night Football at Lambeau Field. Packers-Eagles, with Green Bay favored by 2.5. I'm Alex Stroh.
Purchase, finance, or service a new or pre-owned Ford at Metro Ford of Madison on the east side today.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut, and let me tell you, Pizza Hut delivers a win every time with the Big Dinner Box. For just $19.99, get 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Feed your whole team for one unbeatable price. Choose your crust, hand-tossed, pan, thin and crispy, or even tavern style. Order now for delivery or carry out at pizzahut.com or on the Pizza Hut app. The Big Dinner Box for just $19.99, only at Pizza Hut. And remember, no one outpizzas the Hut.
This is Wilde Tausch, brought to you by Grassland Butter. Grassland Dairy is Wisconsin. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com.
Take my heart, don't break it. Love me to my bones. All this time I wasted. You were right there.
Back to the Carbless Talk and Text line we go. Let's get a few more of your calls here during the 10 o'clock hour. Let's go to DeForest. You know how much I love the Norskis. If I didn't know he was calling, I'd have worn one of my Norski Nike products. It is Coach Mack in DeForest. Aaron, how are you, man?
Good. How are you guys doing?
I'm okay. I'm, still running the interview back in my head. What did you think of what Chris McIntosh had to say as a long-time high school football coach in our fair state?
Well, I think there's another layer to this, and I don't even know if I shared this with Tausch or you. I used to GA'd for Barry and Brett. So I have an intimate understanding of what we were trying to accomplish across the state of Wisconsin. And that was always our foundation. And I understand with the times in college football, you have to adapt. But I don't hear enough about what that solution is to resurrecting our program in 2026. That would be my biggest question. It's going to be, what are we going to do with those resources?
Yeah,
Aaron, as a GA and coaching and everything else, because we asked Mac about the article and about the, I guess, Brad Nortman on our air has said that he's talked to coaches that aren't overly impressed, I guess is the nicest way to put it, with Luke Fickell and how he's approached it. What would you, if he calls you and says, Aaron, I know you just, you've done this, you've been a part of it, what should I do to recapture the state of Wisconsin? What would you tell him to do?
I'd volunteer my time for a year to get it right and to put my boots on the ground back in the state of Wisconsin and truly interact and connect with our state, because it's being missed, and it's not even close as to what we're doing in terms of, I think there's lip service to recruiting in this state, But if you go look up at the makeup of the staff, yeah, there's some guys who maybe had played in the program, but that's different than truly knowing what it is that our kids have to offer in this state. And I think that's the biggest thing when they decided to go in a different direction from Paul or Jimmy. That is the thing that we lost is, and Paul started to lose it too. And I GA'd for Paul, and I'm a huge Paul supporter. But we didn't have anyone beating the trees in the state, not even as Paul's time. They had Bob Bostad on staff, and he wasn't even the in-state recruiter his last 2 years. Well, now he's at Indiana, and he's got more kids, more offensive linemen on the roster at Indiana than we do, contributing positively at a high clip in Wisconsin, and that is a problem to me.
I would say this:
we can give you more resources, but if you're not using them on the foundation, and the foundation will always be the big Palookas, and we are not getting those kids. It should be easier to get them, not harder.
I will say this. Someone sent me a tweet of a bunch of the Wisconsin O-linemen, and there's a lot of Minnesota, Iowa, and obviously there's a center that's playing a lot of good ball at Ohio State. So I think Aaron has Coach Mack's got obviously he's been on the ground, so take that for it's there. There's some there, no doubt about it.
Right, and what I would argue, and Coach Mack, before we let you go, I'd be curious your response to this. To me, among the things that you need to focus on would be people that are familiar with your program, that have an in-state pride, because you're not going to outspend the Oregons and the Ohio States and what have you. So you better make the connectivity with these in-state kids who might be willing to stay here. I'm not talking about hometown discounts like you do in the NFL to re-sign with a team, but there's something to that. They're going to want they want their piece of the pie too, obviously, in today's landscape. But maybe there's more to it than just the big number of zeros at the end of your NIL deal, and maybe you've got people. Think about this program. Think about how many Wisconsin natives grew up in the state, are in the NFL right now. There are a lot of really good football players in this state. You got to keep them.
Yeah, and I understand. And to me, those are your foundation and your developmental guys. That doesn't mean you're going to get them for free. It means when you miss on older portal kids, you have something to fall back on. When we miss right now on kids, we have nothing to fall back on because we have no foundation. And our foundation are out, and the wall's broken. They're out in other big-time programs playing for them. They're not invested in ours. And so when you go through 1 in 9 seasons or whatever the hell it is that we're going to go through, who do we fall back on? Do we go back to the portal and try and find new kids who are disconnected from the state of Wisconsin? We've been to that movie. It doesn't work. So that's where I think the resources, the connection, the staff, if we truly want to see any results in 2026.
Coach, we appreciate your insights, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Tausch, we also appreciate the handcrafted quality of a Tito's vodka, don't we?
Indeed we do, and if we're tailgating before the game, watching from the couch, grilling with buddies, whatever it might be, Tito's handmade vodka. Always my go-to. And you know what? It's getting a little chilly out, so I like to go with the fall look, a little cranberry in my Tito's. I don't, the summertime's a different mix, but it's always, no matter what season, always Tito's in my glass. And not only do they make great drinks, Tito's gives back in a big way, partnering with nonprofits and doing real good in the communities across the country, especially for our four-legged friends. So the next time you're raising a glass, make sure it's Tito's handmade vodka, crafted to be savored responsibly.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get to a few more calls in the 10 o'clock hour here, and then in the 11 o'clock hour, we'll shift to the Packers. So if you have not called in already, we've got a few on hold. You can send your texts to the Carbless Talking text line on UW Football 844-770-3776. More of your calls next. It's Wilde Tausch.
This is Wilde Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here, and with a Wisconsin home game tomorrow in Madison and a big game coming up on Monday night in Green Bay, I'm feeling good on this Feel Good Friday on Wilde and Tausch, painted by Hallman Lindsay Paints. With no game in Green Bay on Sunday, maybe this is the perfect weekend to get started on your latest paint project at home. Whenever you're ready to get started, I recommend you do what my family did and trust Hallman Lindsay's pro painters to get the job done right. The pros did the job so much better than we could and made the whole process incredibly easy on all of us. All you have to do to get connected, stop into any of Madison's Hallman Lindsay locations, ask, and they'll help you find the pro painters that are perfect for what you need. And remember, Wisconsin's best painters use Wisconsin's best paint, and Wisconsin's best painters are the pro painters at Hallman Lindsay Paints. Stick around for Feel Good Friday coming up to close out today's show, painted by Hallman Lindsay Paints.
The Milwaukee Bucks, the Chicago Bulls.
Giannis fades, Giannis fires, tough shot, and he hits it at the horn. A game winner for the Greek Freak.
Tonight on 100.5 ESPN.
What was that?
It was just me or, I got such a bargain. Poorly constructed sofa falling apart.
I just bought you.
Yeah, well, I did just turn 3, I'm 67 in sofa years. I am so ready to retire and move to Miami.
I knew I should have listened to my mother and bought that other sofa from Steinhoffel's. It was so strong and comfy.
Tired of furniture that doesn't hold up to its end of the bargain? Steinhoffel's has quality furniture for every style and budget. Relax. It's Steinhoffel's.
Grassland Butter is built by tradition right here in Wisconsin. Grassland is family owned and has been crafting butter for 5 generations. That's why at Grassland Butter, you're more than just an employee, you're family. The Wietrich family believes in supporting each other, growing together, and building a workplace where everyone feels valued. Your voice matters at Grassland Dairy. Your success is our success. Join a team where culture isn't just a buzzword, it's how we live every day. Check us out online at grassland.com. That's grassland.com.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 5 and 20%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. Visit amfam.com to learn more. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Imagine the peace of mind knowing your home or business is safe 24/7. I'm Jeffrey Beckman, president of J&K Security Solutions, and we provide security you can trust. Serving Madison and southern Wisconsin, J&K Security Solutions offers state-of-the-art home and business security systems tailored to your needs. From video surveillance to home and business automation, to find out how J&K Security can help secure what matters most in your life, visit jksecurity.com.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
The UW Credit Union member Mark Tauscher here. People ask me, T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Well, is it to keep your banking local? Is it the member first service? Great perks like early payday? Absolutely. But honestly, between us, it's Bucky. I can't say no to that face. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom makes us do crazy things, but this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member and get your Bucky card like me. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
After a serious accident, you'll need a winning team to protect your rights. Trust Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Wisconsin is holding on to head coach Luke Fickell.
If I felt that there was a change that needed to be made, I wouldn't hesitate in making that change.
What's the future hold under Fickell and Chris McIntosh? Reaction continues next, right here on 100.5 ESPN.
Let's make tonight the weekend. I don't wanna wait. I don't wanna wait. I don't wanna wait. Got no reason not to say.
Get back to your calls. After our conversation with Luke Fickell, with Chris McIntosh. Got Fickell on the brain here. Let's go to Mark in New Berlin. Mark, thanks for holding on. Good morning. Your thoughts?
taking my call. I usually call the guys in the afternoon, but I had a call in. Dad, he sounded just like Aaron Rodgers doing damage control after he lost, getting eliminated from the playoffs. I mean, he is not qualified for this job. I don't know if you guys looked at his resume. He is not qualified for this job. For Pete's sake, nothing against real estate. He was a real estate agent. He wasn't an assistant at Georgia or an assistant at Penn State. He has no qualifications. Who hired him? His buddy Barry. So you got to get rid of him. And as far as now I'm getting all mixed up here. What I was going to say, but as far as Wilde, I loved your questions, but why did you tiptoe on some of them? You should have hit him hard with the Paul Christ, with the Jim Leonard. You should have went at him about the buyout. I mean, I would have had him running. Ask him these questions, because this is going to go on for years and years. And as far as, doesn't he know we got a coach from Penn State, the ex-coach, sitting out there waiting for a job? He recruited two of the top players in the state 2 years ago from Catholic Memorial together. I mean, what are we doing here? Is this, and Ted Kellner is not Mark Cuban. He cannot do like Indiana. He has a lot of money, but he doesn't have that kind of money. So, you can't, and plus I think he's probably 80 years old. You can't rely on him. We have to do this ourselves. We're turning in just like the basketball team, just like Greg Gard. Tyler Hero, he came. We couldn't get him. Con Knippel,
well, wait a minute. No, I would argue. All right, first of all, Mark, I appreciate your feedback. I would tell you, having done this for a little while, that Chris McIntosh had the answers that he was going to answer, regardless of how I phrased the question. But you would have had him running. I'm not sure about that. Secondly, Greg Gard has navigated the Wild West of college basketball a hell of a lot better than Luke Fickell has in the Wild West of football. I don't know if you wanted Tyler Hero on your team or not, but he was a one-and-done player to the NBA. Con Knippel would have done the same thing. So they have won at a much better clip than I think other programs have. So let's not make it sound like Greg Gard and Luke Fickell are on the same par here. As far as Chris McIntosh's resume, he did work in the athletic department dating back to 2014. He did play here. So you can be critical of the decisions he's made without question. He may have hired the wrong guy. That's very possible. In fact, it's probable based on the results to this point. But come on. He was going to say what he was going to say. What we could do, I hope that we got some answers that were satisfactory to you. It doesn't sound like it. We did. Let's get to another call.
Now, is that the same Mark that used to call Scalzo and Brust?
I believe that was the very same. Yeah.
Jordan Love taking over for Aaron Rodgers way before it was hip.
He was a pioneer.
To do it because we all thought he was crazy. Is that the same Mark? I'm assuming it is.
That's the one. Yeah.
He wasn't as crazy as we thought he was when he first started saying it. I think that's him, right? He doesn't call our show often, but I think that's him. My kids, when I used to drive to hockey over to Middleton all the time, they loved Mark in New Berlin. He was the guy, and I think that's him.
The very one.
Okay.
Let's talk to Tom in Oconomowoc.
Would have had Mac running.
That's what he said. Hi, Tom. How are you?
Tom.
I grew up in
Hey.
Yeah, okay. He's busy.
Let's go to the Mark in Cedarburg. Another Mark, not to be confused with the Mark of KBN. Mark, how you doing?
Hey, good. How are you guys?
Great.
I'll just make a couple quick comments here, and I'll let you guys hash it over or get to the next caller. But I know Chris McIntosh played football with Wilde Tausch, and I'm very respectful of that. I'm just curious. One thing is, why was he answering so many coach questions? It appears to me that UW is just really struggling getting up to speed with the changing landscape relating to NIL, so that may have a lot to do with this. why doesn't what all the reliance is or the comments on injuries, and I appreciate that, but take a look up north when Jordan Love was unavailable last year and Malik Willis came in and won a couple games. Why do we not have the ability to plug someone in there just to stop the leaks and try to win a game or two? And then lastly, Chris McIntosh and Luke are like a couple climbers going up El Capitan. They're tethered to each other, so one falls, they both fall. So I think we all kind of realize that. So that's why probably Chris McIntosh needs to say what he's saying. So appreciate your time, guys. Have a good weekend. Thank you. Bye.
So a couple things there, and as far as Mac and Luke, yeah, they had it. If Mac was going to make a change, and he had the chancellors and boosters and everybody, that is not the road he went down. So as far as tethering, he made the big move. I think all of us, I didn't hear anybody complaining or arguing about it 3 years ago. It was, I thought, the right move at that time. They are married. There is no doubt about that. That is crystal clear. As far as the quarterback situation goes, this is where this isn't the pros. There isn't a salary cap and trades. And should Wisconsin have been better suited the last couple of seasons to handle the loss of their quarterbacks better? Nobody can argue that. Of course they should. But you're looking at it, you're saying would Green Bay have been to the playoffs last year if it was just Malik Willis and Jordan Love never came back? I don't know. I'll say Goody did a hell of a job getting him in there. The Wisconsin Badgers have not. And I continue to go back to evaluating talent with the resources you have and trying to get as many good football players in here as you can. Other programs have done it better than what we have. And if that's a combination of the financial part of it, the evaluation part of it, everything should be evaluated. And I think Mac was crystal clear that is what he's doing. And again, the clock is ticking. There's no doubt. People, you can tell just by our callers, and people are here. They need to see big things happening, and I think that's why there's a lot of disappointment that Mac made that announcement he did. But this is where we're at. Now it's how are you going to make it, and how are you going to get a lot better with a schedule that does line up a lot better. But if you're not better, none of that's going to matter. That schedule and leaning on – if you're leaning on just having a really easier schedule, I'm going to tell you something right now, and this pains me to say it. What do you think Purdue and Minnesota and everybody is looking at from our end? You think they're saying, that's just the reality. I don't want to say it, but it's the truth.
It's true.
Yeah. But people used to say, going to Wisconsin is going to be rough. I would bet Washington is probably not thinking that as they're flying in today. Now, I hope when they leave tomorrow, they're saying it. But, that's where we're at.
We'll get to a few more of your calls before the top of the hour. I want to remind you that the Steinhafels Black Friday sale, even though Black Friday's not here yet, their sale is here right now. Get a jump on the savings with doorbusters like any size Sealy mattress for just $199, dining tables and sofas for $499, and queen beds for only $599. Plus, enjoy 36 months, 0% financing on purchases over $1,999. Plus, there's more. Get a $100 Bucks gift card, Milwaukee Bucks, when you spend over $1,999 through Tuesday, November 11th. That's next Tuesday. Shop in store and online at Steinhafels and steinhafels.com. More Wilde Tausch. Straight ahead. Stick around.
This is Wilde Tausch, brought to you by Grassland Butter. Grassland Dairy is Wisconsin. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut. You know how much I've loved Pizza Hut going back to the days when I was a kid participating in their legendary Book It program. I loved Pizza Hut back then, and I love making new memories enjoying Pizza Hut with my family now. Pizza Hut delivers a win every time with the Big Dinner Box. For just $19.99, you get 2 medium, 1 topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Feed your whole team for one unbeatable price. Choose your crust, hand-tossed, pan, thin and crispy, or even tavern style. Order now for delivery or carryout at pizzahut.com or on the Pizza Hut app. The Big Dinner Box for just $19.99, only at Pizza Hut. And remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Steinhoffels. Their Black Friday mattress sale is on now. Save up to $900 on top brands and get 60 months 0% financing only at Steinhoffels and Steinhoffels.com. Wisconsin men's basketball tipping off the season with a Monday night win over Campbell. John Blackwell leading the way, game high 31 points. Putting that NBA Combine experience to work. Hear more from his sit down on the Jump Around Extra.
I'm playing against the best of the best NBA players. And you just bring back a different competitiveness to the program. And coming here ready to compete every single day, you just bring a different aspect that you've seen that other side. You've seen where guys want to get to, where I want to get to. You're just hungry for it.
Get a whole house of new Pella windows for as low as $297 a month with 0% financing for up to 6 years.
Wow. Don't sit on the sidelines, folks. Visit PellaWI.com today.
For official rules and more information about every contest on 100.5 ESPN, visit ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN app.
This is Ricky, owner of Infinity Exteriors here in Madison. I've seen it too many times. Homeowners paying thousands too much for new windows. Big promises of premium installs that never deliver. Madison, you deserve better. At Infinity Exteriors, we're local experts for energy-efficient windows, roofing, and siding with transparent pricing and no gimmicks. Every project comes with a lifetime workmanship because we believe in doing it right. We're on a mission to save our communities from overpriced, unqualified window contractors. Visit infinityexteriors.com, proud partner of your Madison Mallards.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Meet Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because your next Mercedes Sprinter van is waiting for you.
Mark Tauscher here, and your seat at the table just got better at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Return to Hard Rock Casino Rockford's high limit room where the odds are in your favor. With enhanced game rules including blackjack where the dealer stands on soft 17, you'll enjoy better odds, faster play, and the kind of authentic high limit action that sets Hard Rock Casino Rockford apart. Visit the high limit room and rediscover your game on your terms, in your rhythm, and with your edge at Hard Rock Casino Rockford.
We run Badgers Volleyball. Join UW Volleyball for Stuff the Fieldhouse on Sunday, November 9th, benefiting the Goodman Community Center. Bring non-perishable food items to drop off at any gate to the Fieldhouse and help under-resourced folks in the Madison community celebrate Thanksgiving this year.
Let's get to 2 more calls. And then we will shift gears. Matt LaFleur at the podium moments ago discussing a few Packers-related topics that we want to get to as well. But first, let's get to your calls. Let's start with Cameron in central Wisconsin. Cameron, good morning. Thanks for holding on. What are your thoughts on Luke Fickell and Chris McIntosh?
Yeah, I guess I got 2 questions for you guys. With the added investment, that Mac is talking about, if Fickell goes and gets some top tier assistants and I guess coordinators, Does that make you guys feel better or worse about the decision to retain him? And then I guess the follow-up question I have with this move of retaining Fickell, does this almost cause like irreparable damage? Like, I feel a little bit like the fans and former players like are so far out on Fickell that even winning won't bring everybody back together. So, 2 questions for you. Appreciate everything you guys do.
Yeah, thanks, Cameron.
I'll answer the second one.
Yeah.
Jason, you answer the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Winning cures everything. It does.
Good one.
So, and I think Luke understanding some of the getting out in the community that we heard Barry Alvarez talk about, and I know on his coach's show with Matt LePay, I've heard Luke talk about that's something he needs to be better at. And he needs to go out and do it this, if he is retained, and obviously now with the news yesterday he is going to be retained. That's something he needs to get out and do. People want to associate with winning and winners. So all of the other stuff, he definitely needs to outreach and do more. But you know what's the best elixir or the best deodorant or the best whatever? Win. Just like in Rocky 3, is that right? Win. When Adrian said it to Rocky, she's sitting there and Rocky's all struggling because she didn't want to fight, and she gets up from the old bed. She's laying there and Rocky doesn't know what to do.
I think that's 2.
Mickey is.
I think it's 2
it
where she's like having some complications with the pregnancy and stuff,
Yeah.
and she's like bedridden,
And she just goes. It was as simple as win.
Yeah,
that's what Luke Fickell needs to do.
I think
that's
4
the elixir.
I think 4 is when she's standing at the top of the stairs talking about Drago and says, "You can't win," which also motivated him, I suppose. All right,
Rocky showed her.
He sure
Maybe
did.
that's what we need. We need Adrian and Rocky 4 for Luke and Mac. That's what we need. We need some Adrian 4. Against all odds. Everybody thought. Everybody thought when Adrian got up on them steps and said that, yeah, he can't. Look at that guy. He's a cut-up machine, man. Rocky's throwing rocks around, climbing snowbanks out in Siberia. And everybody's thinking, Rocky can't do it. He's old. We need some Rocky Balboa in this program. That's what we need.
Is Barry Adrian?
No, I think Adrian's all the fans saying, you can't win. Mac and Fick are down there with Rocky, firing up old rocks, pulling rock pulls and doing pull-ups off of beams in a barn.
Yep.
Let's go.
Beam in a barn.
Go boo in a barn.
Go boo in a barn in Siberia.
Let's go to Josh in Kenosha. Josh, good morning. Welcome to Wilde Tausch. Your thoughts on UW football?
Good morning, guys. Happy Friday. First, can David Gruber represent all of us? Because we've all been injured in this accident that is Badger football.
Nice. Very well done. Thank you very much.
So, I don't want to put all the blame on Mac because I think this is a byproduct of the new era we are in, with the transfer portal being what it is, and NIL. And he swung for the fences with Fickell, and he struck out. It happens. Part of the problem is that Wisconsin, for 30 years, was known for playing really good smash-mouth football, and they tried to go away from it. And it failed. And it's okay to fail. It's how you respond to the failure. And I think fans are overreacting to this failure because they're not used to experiencing this level of failure. And they're also not looking at it logically, bigger picture, from the financial aspect that Tauscher was talking about. You're not going to have the money for his buyout and then to bring in another coach to pay them. But also, who are you going to have as your next coach? Because you're not going to be able to get a top dollar guy like a James Franklin who just got fired from Penn State. So you're going to have to go with a younger guy looking to get experience who probably doesn't have experience. And you also don't want a lame duck coach. That doesn't serve anybody anything. So I think the fans are blowing it way out of proportion, and I will blame Chris McIntosh for sounding like a politician who really just didn't want to answer anything. So he kind of just tried to play the middle. and it didn't work.
Yeah, I think that's fair. We appreciate the call. Look, I don't know what would have been satisfying answers from him, because I feel like a satisfying answer for a lot of the fan base and alumni is Luke Fickell will not be back next season. And anything short of that was not going to placate a lot of people. And that's not the decision he's made. So that's the reality. All right, let's get to one last call. Let's circle back.
We don't give people many second chances on this show.
To Tom in Oconomowoc. Tom, welcome back. Maybe.
Thanks.
Hey, there you are.
Are you there? Hey.
We are here. Are you here?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Say, I just wanted to bring up, fans have brought up a lot of good things, but to me, we're just not talking about the issue at hand, and the issue at hand is our offense sucks. All right? And I'd like to see the MAC address a little bit more about how are we going to win the games in front of us, what are we going to do differently, and even though we're going to not fire Fick, are we going to take a hard look at some of the staff, the offensive coordinator? What's the answer to that? How are they drilling down on the issues? And then secondly, I'd like to see Mac put some metrics around what success looks like for next year. You know, how many games do we need to win? Not just say he's got carte blanche ability to come back, Fickell, but what does it look like? You know, put some metrics in about recruiting Wisconsin players and that kind of thing, so we know what it's going to look like, success is going to look like if we have it next year. So those are my biggest thoughts. But the offense, again, I'm just like, can we please talk about the offense? This is a problem.
Sure. Tom, let me ask you this, because I don't know Jeff Grimes. I don't know intimately the all of his philosophies. He's been on the show once. It would appear that he's had some offenses that have been pretty good at other places. You're playing with your second and third string quarterback, which I would critique this coaching staff and say, that's great that you've found quarterbacks in the portal the last 3 years, all of whom have gotten hurt. How good of a job have you had of having a backup plan at quarterback? And your offensive line stinks. I don't know if any coordinator is going to have success with that quarterback situation and that offensive line. So I'm not sure I can get on board with their offensive system sucks.
Well, so I would say this, okay? You go to war with what you've got, right? You play a football game with the talent you have, right? And so how do you leverage the talent you have? And one of the ways you do that, in my mind, is you have a fullback. The last game they started to do some of the things. They got it under center as opposed to being in shotgun, even on running plays. You got to get that back to the line quicker after you hand it off, because the offensive line can't hold their blocks very long. He was very slow to adapt to that. I mean, it was obvious the offensive line was struggling. You got to have quick hits. You got to move quicker. You can't. The play's not going to evolve, and it's going to dissolve. I just didn't see Grimes addressing and adjusting his approach to the players we do have, and trying to make it so that it was easier for them to execute. So I'll just stop there.
We appreciate the call, Tom. Thanks. Look, the offense stinks. He's not wrong. You get shut out. You're celebrating scoring one touchdown in Oregon in 3 games.
I'll say this: it did feel good to get. It did feel good to get a touchdown.
Did it feel as good as it's going to feel when you cash your winning tickets from your wagers at Hard Rock Casino Rockford?
Well, with Jordan Love can win MVP, that would make a big difference. The other ones, I think we all feel good. Jesse had a good Brewers season down there, and they just went down. Jesse and Barry and Tark, Omai and Engs, they've been down at Hard Rock Casino Rockford the last couple weeks. They've been rolling dice. They've been having a great time, and it's only a 60-minute trip from the Madison area. Easy ride right off I-90 in Rockford. They got the sports book. They got the UU Noodle Bar. They got table games. They got slots. They got everything you're looking for. And you can experience what true high-limit play feels like, surrounded by the rhythm, indulgence, and that great energy of Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Elevate the high-limit room experience to deliver those premium table games played tailored for discerning players. Enhanced game rules include blackjack, where the dealer stands on soft 17. That helps you. I always used to think it helps you a lot. You'll enjoy better odds, faster play, and the kind of authentic high-limit action that sets the Hard Rock Casino apart from other places. Your next hand could be your best yet. Visit the High Limit Room at Hard Rock Casino Rockford and rediscover your game on your terms, in your rhythm, with your edge. And Jesse is a great example. He wasn't ready a couple weeks ago. He found his rhythm on his terms, and with his edge, Jesse Nelson walked out on a birthday Wednesday or whatever day he was down there with a couple $100 in his pocket. That's what Hard Rock Casino Rockford's all about.
Actually, $101.
And UU noodles hanging out of his shirt.
Oh, my gosh, still so good. Had leftovers yesterday. They were so good.
Okay, good for you. The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde Tausch starts in 2 minutes, so please stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Mark Tauscher here for Iron Jock. As a former athlete, I've worn just about every type of workout gear there is, and nothing compares to Iron Jock. Their performance apparel is built to fight sweat, odor, and bacteria, keeping you feeling fresh no matter how hard you push. From the gym to the pickleball court, Iron Jock keeps you dry, comfortable, and confident. Right now, you can get 35% off your Iron Jock gear. Use code NOSHOW35. That's NOSHOW35 for 35% off your order. Upgrade to Iron Jock. Available now at ironjock.com.
Hey, this is Jonathan Blackwell of Wisconsin Badgers basketball. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson. Sports Center brought to you by Wisconsin Surplus in Mount Horeb, your homegrown auction powerhouse. From government assets to vehicles and equipment, find your next deal at wisconsinsurplus.com. Wisconsin Badgers head football coach Luke Fickell will return for the 2026 season. Athletic Director Chris McIntosh confirming that with ESPN's Pete Thamel yesterday. McIntosh also appearing this morning on Wilde and Tausch.
I know what the potential of this program is. I know what the expectation of this program is. And when you're fighting through a year like the one we are, it's one that just eats you up from the inside. And that's really been both a painful thing to go through, but it's also a very motivating thing to go through. And, I want to compete, and I want this program to compete. And, we're just leaning into the adversity to push through because there's no other way to do it. There's no other way but to push through this, and that's where my mind is saying.
You can find the full conversation with the Director of Athletics, Chris McIntosh, on Wilde and Tausch on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel and the ESPN Wisconsin app. Wisconsin hosts 23rd-ranked Washington tomorrow, 3:30 kickoff at Camp Randall Stadium.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now. So, a lot to get to, and we will do a lot of it again on Monday, as it'll be game day. But a variety of things coming out of yesterday and now this morning with Matt LaFleur at the podium earlier. I want to start, though, Tausch, with the kicking situation.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you. Who's kicking on Monday?
I don't know. And I know you love it when I say that, but I don't.
I do.
It's a competitive situation.
Okay.
So, is McManus healthy enough to kick or not? Because if it's a competitive situation, is it is he healthy? And now you just can't decide who you're going to kick? Like, this has become a bit of an issue.
Conundrum, if you will.
A quandary, quagmire. I don't know, Jim. Like, hindsight is 20/20, Matt LaFleur has told us, and a phrase that has never been used by anyone else in the history of the world. But this has been, I don't know how you don't look at this and go, gosh, I wish we would have put him on IR. Or maybe they should just put him on IR now to absolutely ensure that he is 100% healthy, and we'll see if Lucas Havrisik can stay perfect the rest of the way while he's out. I don't know what they're going to do on Monday night. We're going to talk to Rich Bisaccia today, because today is Thursday in the Packers world schedule-wise. But, like, what are we doing here? Now it's an open competition?
Yeah, it's been mismanaged, there's no doubt, and that's why I gave special teams a big fat F yesterday. Kicking was the one thing you really felt good about coming into this season. You didn't know who was going to kick, return, or punt because your star kick returner told you all offseason you didn't want to do it. Punt returning, you end up putting a guy back there that never's done it. And now you have a guy with a concussion history and a big old guardian cap back there. It's your number one wideout returning punts, and I don't hear any of the same, you can't put your number one wideout back there. Yeah. No, it's all good. Now, I don't know. It's such a – that to me is the idiocy of media sometimes. I don't get that. Explain it to me later. I don't need to know it right now. But the kicking, it's been mismanaged, and it was all good. McManus was humming along. He missed the one kick. We gave Domofsky grief. And then, I don't remember if it was a Thursday or Friday, you broke into the show and said, Matt LaFleur is very concerned about Brandon McManus' quad. And for whatever reason, you go pick up Havrisik, he comes in and kicks his keister off. And all of a sudden, the guy's quad got better. Don't know if that was because we don't know. I can tell you, human nature would tell me, if I'm McManus, I'm saying, I don't want this kid going out and making 5 more kicks and setting the world's record for our franchise. I'm going to be out of a job, so I better get my butt back out there. That's what I would think. I don't know if that's what he thought. That's how I would think as a player. Mm-hmm. So he goes out there, and he struggled, and he's missed easy kicks. He's missed long kicks. He has struggled, and now he's in jeopardy.
Yeah.
So the easy answer here, especially with you have to bring a tight end up. You're going to have to do – this isn't – keeping 2 kickers on the roster is not where you want to be. You want to have one on the practice squad and one kicking, and you feel good. Develop the young guy. Well, Havrisik, unfortunately, for everybody but him, he's done a great job, and he's going to get snapped up. I see. I don't know what team picked up that heavy set kicker. I sent you guys that video of him. Big, heavy set, strong kicker. The thick kicker, they called him.
Yeah.
Somebody's picking up Havrisik because he's been perfect.
Yeah.
I think Green Bay needs to IR McManus, let him get a beat, 4 weeks, let him go, see what you got with Havrisik, and I think you're going to have to keep 2 kickers on this active roster after that 4 weeks, unless he's not healthy, and you roll with it, and then this offseason, you let it roll. That's what I think you end up doing here, because you certainly cannot just trust, I think McManus will be back. I don't trust him right now. And you know who else doesn't? The Packers. Because you know what they wouldn't be doing? In the middle of early November?
Having a competition.
Opening up a competition on November 7th before the biggest game of your season? So it's a mess. IR him. Havrisik, go make some kicks, and then let's reboot and reload in a couple weeks and see where we're at for this postseason push.
All right, I want to ask you a little bit about a juxtaposition between the Packers and the Eagles' approach in the last week or so as well. We'll do that next after you tell us about Coors Lights.
Oh, Coors Light, brewed with that 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and it is cold packaged, so it is made to chill in those mountains. On Coors Light's cold activated in bottles and cans, they turn blue. That's when you know it is chilled to perfection. So it is always Coors Light in my hand. Celebrate responsibly, Coors Brewing Company of Golden, Colorado.
More Packers conversation on Wilde Tausch next, so stick around.
This is Wilde Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Ready to watch the Packers like a VIP? Cousins Subs put you in the center of it all on the 50-yard line in plush recliner seats, complete with personal TVs and your favorites delivered from Cousins Subs. 2 pairs of fans are selected before each regular season home game to enjoy this one-of-a-kind experience. Enter daily to win the best seats in the house, only from Cousins Subs. Cousins Subs. We believe in better. See rules and eligibility for details.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
The area's best high school sports coverage is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania.
It's level 3 of the WIAA football playoffs. The number 1 seed Homestead Highlanders host the 2 seed Monona Grove Silver Eagles in a powerhouse showdown for a spot in the state semifinals. Join me, Hunter Vaughn, and the Dean Dennis Sumrow on the call. Coverage starts at 6:30, kickoff at 7 p.m. this Friday night on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Hello, I'm John Hayes, the owner of Goodman's Jewelers. It's been my pleasure to serve this community from this incredible store for over 4 decades. We stand upon high standards and classic traditions, pillars like honesty and integrity. Stop into Goodman's Jewelers, the longest-standing full-service jewelry store in the heart of Madison at 220 State Street. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Alex Stroh for my great friends at Door County Distillery. Locally produced, handcrafted, award-winning spirits made locally in beautiful Door County. It's the best time of the year. It's bourbon season. Weather outside getting a little chilly, but you can stay warm with a delicious glass of the Door County Distillery bourbon. Or check out Door County Distillery exclusives like their cherry bourbon and their bat bourbon. It's bat good. Visit the website, doorcountydistillery.com. That's doorcountydistillery.com.
Looking to take your baseball game to the next level? GRB Academy provides year-round training programs designed around your schedule and your goals. For over 15 years, GRB has been Wisconsin's leader in player development and advancement with a state-of-the-art 52,000 square foot facility of elite baseball training space and coaches who know how to get results. From youth to high school, baseball players trust GRB to help them reach their next level. Training program spots are filling quickly, so don't wait. Register now at grbacademy.com.
Want to pay off this year's renter mortgage? Feel like a real estate mogul at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison during November's Live for Free promotion. Starting at 4 p.m. on Saturday, November 29th, 24 winners will each spin the wheel for a cash prize of up to $5,000. Then at 8 p.m., one grand prize winner will pocket $25,000 in cash to use toward their rental mortgage. This could be your chance, but you have to be here. Live it up this November and go to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
Madison's financial challenges need a Dane County-based bank. Starion Bank is a full-service community bank that delivers quality big bank services with a local approach. We are proud to be there for any budding entrepreneur or small businesses, helping them exceed their financial goals from banking to lending to cash management. Visit a banker at one of our convenient branches in Middleton, Monona, or Sun Prairie. Starion Bank, taking you farther.
Wilde Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
When you tell me I'm a wreck, you say that I'm a mess. How could you expect anything less? You latched onto me, then cried how strong you alone. I told you when you asked, I knew this wouldn't last. At least I could be honest about that.
Tausch, I know you've got something cooking. Pun very much intended. A little bit later. Before you can do that, though, you need to tell us about UW Credit Union, which I'm sure you and Chris McIntosh are both members of.
Well, for every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you, proudly serving Wisconsin. For over 90 years, they're going to help you reach your financial goals. And you talk about NIL and supporting athletics and supporting the community and being out all over the state of Wisconsin. Well, UW Credit Union does all of that. You get Bucky. Big fans of Bucky. You love Wisconsin like I do. You can't pay with anything else. Fandom will make you do crazy things, but this makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member today. Get your Bucky card like I did. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions do apply.
So, Tausch, how do you look at the juxtaposition between what the and look, the Packers are one of six, seven teams that have brought in or will bring in Asante Samuel Jr. for a visit. Now, the NFL transaction wire differentiates between coming in for a workout, tryout, and coming in for a visit, which means he didn't work out for them. Now, I'm sure their medical staff gave him a workout, examining him after his spinal fusion surgery. Played 4 games last year, then had stinger symptoms that led to the surgery. 2021 second-round pick, but there's a lot of interest, but there's also just a lot of questions when it comes to that. But if you look at what the Eagles did in the week leading up to the trade deadline, they capped it with Jalen Phillips, the pass rusher from the Dolphins. Before that, Michael Carter II, corner from the Jets in a trade, and then our old friend Jair Alexander, who I can only assume will be a captain, self-appointed or not, if he is indeed active for Sunday's game. Packers, they lose Tucker Kraft. They are going to be without Nate Hobbs for a couple weeks. They did not make a trade at the deadline. What, if anything, should we take from those two distinctly different approaches to two teams that are both contending?
Well, I believe Philadelphia probably looks at it and thinks that they needed more help, that their group has not been as good. They haven't had the pass rush that they've had when they've won championships, and their formula is to do that. I mean, I think Brian Gutekunst would have loved to have been able to, grab a corner. Maybe it'll be Samuel. Maybe his health will check out and they can bank on that. But I don't think Goody had the luxury after making the big splash move, and one that Philadelphia tried to do, FYI. Mm-hmm. They also went after Micah Parsons, and obviously the Cowboys said no. They didn't have the same capital to go do that. Packer fans that are down on Goody and on the Packers will say, well, they never do that. They don't ever make a move at the trade deadline, and that's why we're sitting here 15 years later without a championship. All right. Philadelphia has looked at it, and they have continually looked to tinker. They're not as much of a develop and grow group with youth and younger players.
It's true.
And we'll see which formula. Now, Philly's got 2 championships in the last 4 years? 5 years, whatever it is.
5 years, I think, yep.
The Packers have not. So it's a matter of, I think Green Bay has used its capital. They went big, and I think it's a bold, beautiful move. But they weren't able to go find anyone that fit within the restrictions of what they could do during the deadline. And I think they feel good that this team needs to just clean up and grow with the guys that they have in their locker room.
You obviously played in some big games, including the 4th and 26th game against Philadelphia. I know Keyshawn Nixon talked about this yesterday. They beat them in the opener in Brazil last year. They obviously ended their season in the playoff game. How does that, if any, sort of motivation or revenge or whatever word you want to use there, how does that manifest itself on a week like this? Because this is a big game. It's Monday Night Football, blah-de-blah-de-blah, but it ain't going to decide whether or not you make the Super Bowl or advance in the playoffs. How does that factor in for players this week? Does it at all?
This is a big – it does, and I would disagree with you. I think this will have a big impact. I think this game is big. as far as whether or not they're going to. Is it going to win them a postseason game? No. But it could put them in a position they can't lose one. And I've always been a big advocate of that number 1 seed. I love that number 1 seed. It's
big.
I think it's very important. And I think this year, almost more so than any year, it is going to – I haven't went there yet, but I may.
Oh, no.
This is going to be a very important 1 seed in this. And this game
and the Badgers are going to the Final Four.
No, I'm not there yet.
February
this
1st,
game is,
we do that.
This is a game and a half. This isn't just a game. This is a game and a half when you're starting to deal with tiebreakers and whatnot. So the Packers already have a tie on their docket.
They do.
Finding a way to get this one is going to be a hugely important thing for their positioning in that playoff. And if they can get to that 1 seed, I think it matters immensely. And that's why this is a monster game for a lot of reasons. Psychologically, probably more so than anything. But also standing-wise and playoff positioning-wise, this game will end up mattering when we look back in January.
I was talking about this with Chewy this morning. Him and Homer were the tag team on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Is this an instance, and again, I don't know if you have a specific experience, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but I said to Chewy that for one game, a major injury to a key piece can really galvanize your team, and you can kind of overcome that loss for a week because everybody elevates their game, and they're all talking about how we got to, win one for the Tucker. Could that happen this week? And can you sustain that? Because the bottom line is, the Green Bay Packers are far better of a football team when they have Tucker Kraft versus when they don't.
No blank. Yes, you can galvanize. I think there is a rallying piece. I have seen this and lived it. I think the Warren Sapp game with Cliffy being out and the rallying cry around that was Cliffy was back playing. But I think we rallied around what happened a year before. And there's no doubt in my mind, defensive guys were into it and calling it up and bringing that into play. And obviously the Brett Favre game after he lost his dad is the shining beacon example of what it means when everybody has rallied around a cause to help a teammate. I don't know how that's going to shake out this weekend. And is it sustainable throughout the year? It is not. But I certainly think there is something to be said about unifying and saying, win one for the Tucker, win one. Guys also want to showcase, and in Musgrave's case, I'm pretty good too. I just haven't gotten the opportunities that I've wanted. So there have been other times where guys have been sick, and as a group, we've looked at it and said, why don't we rise up and do something about this so we feel good about what we're doing, and we can go out and execute. What are you smiling about over there? The old giggly squad.
I got a text back from Coach Chad from yesterday.
What did he say?
I was just reading it. He really, because I sent him the clip of us talking about him and about our sports parenting experiences. So he appreciated the kudos that you gave to Coach Chad because we enjoyed.
Okay, I'm glad you cut me off on talking about galvanizing.
I didn't cut
else.
you off. I was letting you talk.
Did.
You said I was smiling. I was listening and looking at the text message.
You had a blank-eating grin, and it kept distracting me. And you go, just like you do. I could tell.
To admit words matter, I did not cut you off.
No, you did. Most communication is body language.
It's nonverbal.
You understand that?
I've got a hand
That's why
signal
when you're
for
back
you
there crocheting or folding, if you're crocheting or folding laundry, you're basically telling me blank off. And you just flip me off right there on the video screen. I get it. So yes, you maybe didn't say Tausch. You did by not. Just like I can tell when something happens, your face goes white. I can tell something's bothering you. So. Either become a better poker player or turn your head, get out of the way when we're doing this. So anyways,
you
galvanize,
need to go,
yes.
you need to tell us about prize picks.
No. Galvanizing this weekend, yes. Sustainable for the next 9 weeks, no. Prize Picks is sustainable every week, every day. It's the best way to win cash during your sports season. It doesn't matter if it's football, basketball, hockey, whatever it might be. Prize Picks makes every game more exciting. And it is simple to play. Pick more or less on at least 2 players' stats. Get them right, and you can cash in. We're not going to go over our Packers and Eagles. We'll do that on Monday. But I'm sure there's a lot of great action both on Saturday, Sunday, and tonight. Usually there's a little Friday flex. Take a look at that. You can follow other players. You can copy their lineups in one click on the new feed tab. And you also have injury reboots, where if your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, it won't count as a loss. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use that code WI. You get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that is code WI. God, you're annoying. Thank you for pulling them off the screen. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
A lot more single cam coming up from now on.
Why don't you go crochet in a basement? Why don't you go crochet in a basement?
Go boo in a bar.
Don't you feel like Wilde'd be a great crocheter?
Yeah.
Don't you just feel like that's something he'd be really good at?
Yeah.
Getting his yarn out, he's got his cats nibbling at his feet.
Big needler.
And he's sitting there crocheting with those big two.
When the girls are off
deals.
to college and he needs a new hobby, that'll be.
He'll start doing his show in a rocking chair, and he's going to be crocheting while I'm waxing poetic about some injury that happened back in 2001.
The most important one seed in the history of one seeds in 2034. Yeah.
And telling that Chad Clifton story again. All right. You're doing something fun today? Is this true?
I am. I am heading over. We got a big cook-off. I'm not sure when, how all this is going to shake out, but yes, I am going to Jones Dairy and Old T. We're going to try to win a match against the volleyball gal this afternoon. We'll see how it shakes out.
Old T and Jones Dairy Farm, a great combination. I'm going to keep smiling both at irritating you and at Chad's message. And you are going to leave, and we're going to play trivia.
Bye, Tausch.
So safe travels. Say hi to Kelly Sheffield for us. And Charlie Furbringer and whoever else might be participating in your cook-off at Jones Dairy Farm. Jesse, we need to play trivia. What category, what caller?
The category today, because on Monday we'll be previewing Packers-Eagles, so we're mixing it up today. It's the Sports Weekend Preview. Looking ahead to some stuff. Instead of the Sports Weekend Recap, we're going to do the Sports Weekend Preview. Looking ahead at some events going on this weekend with no Packers game until Monday night.
Okay, so we've learned now that putting a big number on the calls is an effective way to get lots of calls and let everybody participate. I am not going 65.
I appreciate that.
Now, you said you got a 15-call jump yesterday, so that would take us down to 50. That's still too high for me. I think we should go with caller 33 because Tausch and Mac blocked for the great Ron Dane, and the two of them were chopping it up earlier. So caller 33. Caller 33 right now for trivia, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Trivia's next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott, Garrett, and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. It's my go-to spot for birthdays, anniversaries, and any special occasion. For quality jewelry and a great experience, choose Chalmers Jewelers, the place to go for that perfect gift. Stop at Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison. Time out on the field. Let's bring in Gina Della from Pella. What's the winning game plan this month?
Wayne, a whole house of new windows for as low as $297 a month with 0% interest for up to 6 years.
Wow, that's a drive you can sustain for years. No penalties, no extra interest.
And unlike opponents, Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin actually stops the drafts.
Don't sit on the sidelines, folks. Make your move today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 11/30/2025.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Meet Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because your next Mercedes Sprinter van is waiting for you.
Penalty flags? Not here. Carbless is the clean play that every football fan can agree on. With 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and just 100 calories, you get all the flavor without the penalty. Whether you're tailgating outside the stadium, hosting a crew at home, or watching solo in your lucky jersey, Carbless brings premium cocktails right into the huddle. Made to be refreshingly delicious and game day ready, Carbless keeps fans cheering from kickoff to the final whistle. So this season, skip the sugar, skip the carbs, and make the winning call. Find your bliss with Carbless.
To help those who want to be helped, but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
Played like a pro but felt like an amateur? Twisted your ankle or jammed a finger under the Friday night lights? At Orthopedic and Spine Centers of Wisconsin, their Saturday Sports Injury Clinic has you covered. Skip the emergency room circus, dodge the waiting room sitcom, and get expert care from the pros who actually know sports injuries. Saturdays 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Walk into their location off the Beltline and get back in the game. Orthopedic and Spine Centers of Wisconsin, your comeback starts here.
Mark Tauscher here for Iron Jock. As a former athlete, I've worn just about every type of workout gear there is, and nothing compares to Iron Jock. Their performance apparel is built to fight sweat, odor, and bacteria, keeping you feeling fresh no matter how hard you push. From the gym to the pickleball court, Iron Jock keeps you dry, comfortable, and confident. Right now, you can get 35% off your Iron Jock gear. Use code NOSHOW35. That's NOSHOW35 for 35% off your order. Upgrade to Iron Jock. Available now at ironjock.com.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
Hold on, I don't wanna know what it's like when you're gone. I don't wanna move on. I don't wanna know what it's like when you're gone for good. You're slipping through my fingertips a little bit by a little bit.
Oh. It's a little close to last segment trivia, but we have a first-time contestant for trivia. Time for trivia presented by Cousin Subs.
Uh-oh, I took too many callers. I didn't have our music ready. Here we go.
Wilde Tausch Trivia is presented by Cousin Subs. Cousin Subs' $10 meal deal gives you a 7.5-inch sub, bag of chips or regular fries, fountain drink, and a cookie. All for just $10. This deal is only available online or through the Cousins app.
Let's welcome in that first-time contestant. It is Jared in Milwaukee. Jared, good morning. Welcome aboard the trivia train. First time that you've tried to play or first time you've gotten through?
First time that I've gotten through.
Okay, well, let's make it a good one. Here we go. The category is the Sports Weekend Preview. Question number 1 is this. International football returns this weekend when the Atlanta Falcons and the Indianapolis Colts meet at 8:30 a.m. on Sunday in which city? Berlin, Germany, Barcelona, Spain, or Stratford-upon-Avon, England?
Berlin. Hey.
It is correct, indeed. 1 for 1. All right, question 2. With no Packers game on Sunday afternoon, fans can watch the Milwaukee Bucks at Fiserv Forum playing host to which opponents? Oh, these are all from Texas. Is it the San Antonio Spurs, the Houston Rockets, or the Dallas Mavericks?
B, Houston Rockets.
Nice. 2 for 2. I did not know that one. Question 3, and a chance for 3 correct answers and 4 entries into the drawing. The Marquette men's basketball team plays an intriguing early season game against Indiana at a neutral site location on Sunday afternoon on ESPN and, of course, 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, your home for Marquette men's basketball, with Homer on his 36th year as the voice of the Golden Eagles. At which neutral site is the Marquette, Indiana game being played? Is it at the United Center in Chicago, the Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, or the Enterprise Center in St. Louis?
The United Center in Chicago.
What a debut. You're like the Miz. We don't know what we'll do with you in the playoffs, so it turned out pretty well for him, by the way, in the playoffs.
I actually thought those questions were going to be too tricky, and
I thought they were too, but not for Jared. Jared, you got them all right, man. You got 4 entries into the drawing, which apparently we have to do right away.
Oh, no.
You spilled the chips! Jesse is on the floor picking up the chips. For those of you not watching on video, way to rise to the occasion there.
Stall a second.
Wilde and Tausch Trivia is presented by Cousin Subs. Cousin Subs $10 meal deal gives you a 7.5-inch sub, bag of chips or regular fries, fountain drink, and a cookie.
That's good.
All for just $10. This deal is only available online or through the Cousins app.
It's good, though. It's good to remind everyone what Cousin Subs has going on and what we're playing
So
for.
wait, are we leaving Jared on in case he wins?
Oh, yeah, live reaction in real time.
But if he doesn't win, then he's going to be disappointed.
That is going to be disappointing. Last time we did this, the caller did win. Fair and square, all chips accounted for after our little snafu.
Okay.
Jared, thanks for playing.
Sorry, Jared. Great debut, though, buddy.
Congratulations to...
All right.
Yep, bye, Jared. Bill in New Berlin.
Could you be any more rude to Jared?
He had a great debut, but, we're on to the next. Bill in New Berlin.
Bill in New Berlin, congratulations to you, sir. Bravo. Okay. That is Wilde and Tausch Trivia.
It was messy is what that was.
We will wrap up the week and wrap up the show with Feel Good Friday, painted by Holman Lindsay Paints. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, brought to you by Grassland Butter. Grassland Dairy is Wisconsin. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com.
The UW Credit Union member Mark Tauscher here. People ask me, old T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Well, is it to keep your banking local? Is it the member first service? Great perks like early payday? Absolutely. But honestly, between us, it's Bucky. I can't say no to that face. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom makes us do crazy things, but this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member and get your Bucky card like me. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
you. Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Bruner Realty, providing excellent real estate and property management services in the Madison area for over 30 years. Contact our team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to get housed today. Wisconsin men's basketball tipping off the season with a Monday night win over Campbell. John Blackwell leading the way, game-high 31 points. Putting that NBA Combine experience to work. Hear more from his sit-down on the Jump Around Extra.
I'm playing against the best of the best. And you just bring that a different competitiveness. Coming here ready to compete every single day, you just bring a different aspect that you've seen that other side. You've seen where guys want to get to, where I want to get to. And you're just hungry for it, and you just want to get this team better every single day.
Get a whole house of new Pella windows for as low as $297 a month with 0% financing for up to 6 years.
Wow. Don't sit on the sidelines, folks. Visit PellaWI.com today.
What's new at Zimbrick Chevrolet? A lot. A free car wash with every service, plus a brand new detail facility to keep your ride looking fresh all year long. Relax with coffee and snacks while you wait, and if you can't, grab one of their numerous service loaners, take the shuttle, or even get a lift on them. Plus, Zimbrick Chevrolet has the largest new Chevrolet inventory in southern Wisconsin, and you'll never overpay at Zimbrick Chevrolet. Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie, the name you can trust.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
Grassland Butter is built by tradition right here in Wisconsin. Grassland is family owned and has been crafting butter for 5 generations. That's why at Grassland Butter, you're more than just an employee, you're family. The Wietrich family believes in supporting each other, growing together, and building a workplace where everyone feels valued. Your voice matters at Grassland Dairy. Your success is our success. Join a team where culture isn't just a buzzword, it's how we live every day. Check us out online at grassland.com. That's grassland.com.
We see you out there gearing up for the cold weather ahead. From home winterization to vehicle maintenance, insulated apparel, and more, Blaine's Farm and Fleet has what you need for the season at unbeatable value. Like 40-pound bags of Morton Elite Ice Melt, $7.99. A 16-inch Performance Tool Power Tool Storage Rack, $24.99. And save 30% on zero-exposure outerwear for the whole family. Plus, this Friday through Sunday, all veterans and active military members get an extra 10% off their entire purchase. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
You gotta get down on Friday. It's time to finish the week off right. It's Feel Good Friday on Wilde Tausch, painted by Hallman Lindsay.
Born and raised under the rain.
Time for Feel Good Friday. Presented and painted by Hallman Lindsay Paints. I talked earlier this week about my conversation with DJ and the Saw and how much our show meant to him, so we thank him and his wife again for that. That made me feel really special, and I appreciate that. Speaking of special, one of my all-time favorite players is getting into the Packers Hall of Fame. Tramon Williams, former Tausch teammate. I've told his story before, him sitting at a game at Louisiana Tech as just an engineering student, a freshman undergrad, and looking at the corner play and saying, well, I can do this. And that launches what ends up being a very long NFL career. Just a special guy, and we're excited for him. We're excited for Earl Dotson, too, who obviously Tausch played with and was the right tackle that suffered an injury. I believe it was a back injury that led to Tausch's opportunity. So that is your Hall of Fame class for 2026. But Tramon Williams, what an incredible story. I maintain that like the Rookie, is that the movie that Dennis Quaid is like the pitcher that's like coaching in high school? That's a true story too.
Love that movie.
The Tremont Williams story needs the Disney treatment. So that's our Feel Good Friday, painted by Hallman Lindsay Paints. All right, Jesse, the full interview is now up at on the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Yes, if you missed any of the conversation with Chris McIntosh, the entire interview is available on the ESPN Wisconsin app on the Varsity tab. Subscribe there. That's where we put Badger volleyball matches. You've got all of our best Badgers conversation, including the conversation with Chris McIntosh. And more importantly, it is also available on the ESPN Madison and ESPN Milwaukee YouTube channel. So you can find it there, watch it back, pause, play, all at your own pace. So both great options. If you missed any of the conversation, it was 30 minutes or so. It was a lot of heavy conversation about the state of Wisconsin football.
It was. I would have liked. I think it was over at their end, but I would have liked to have had him on video. We ended up with him on the phone, but I know you did your best to make that happen. So maybe next time when he's talking about the way the Badgers had a winning record in 2026 and how everything is coming up roses again, or he's talking about new Badgers head coach Jason Eck. We'll have to wait for that for next year. That's it for us today. Jesse, great job. We will preview Packers, Eagles on Monday. We'll get you ready for that on Monday Night Football. That's it for us today. Have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial free.